it's like when you wanna go cry, but you can't let out all the feelings inside. So you lay in your bed under blankets and hide, and you let people know that you're feeling just fine. And your pillow gets stained with the tears that you cried, and you're praying nobody comes in, and that's why. And the redness is already taking your eyes. You wish you could hide it, but there's no disguising it. Cry. Let it all out.
If I had to be completely honest with myself, I'm tired. I'm tired, and it's not a physical tired. It's a very, it's in the soul. It's like I'm fucking tired. I'm tired of going through this shit. I'm tired of everything not working out, and I'm just like, I fucking tried, and I can't not lie and say it's not like you don't want to live kind of thing. It's more of a, if God were sitting across from me right now, there would be a part of me that would just want to go up to him and say, listen, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm fucking physically and mentally spent, and I'm done. And it's a silent battle too. And it's a battle we'll kind of hide from the world and from the people we love and the people we want to love or want to love us, because who wants a broken person? It's like, if they knew, like, if the people in your life knew how broken we were, like, would they stay? And then that raises the question of, like, how do I fix this? Can you fix this? I don't know.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
Being a man is what you make it. You can't always live up to expectations. You try to please everybody while you struggle, so you fake it and end up out of balance, compromising situations. As a good man, do what he should, man. Give everything he has and do everything he could, man. You might find yourself feeling all alone inside a house you built that you don't recognize as home. And that's what my daddy told me, and I'll tell my son the same. Now that I'm older, I relate and I actually feel his pain. He never cried, he might have lied, but he did not complain. And he said, son, one day you'll have to do the same. I'll get emotional when I stop and think and I look around. Beyond the county lines of my small town, I think about all the men out there who feel like I do now, who are screaming on the inside but won't ever make a sound.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Don't give up, keep fighting. As a man, our sun is our horizon, and our father's actions play a role, and we end up like them. So they can't let us see them hurt, cause we'll embody what they do and start a generational curse. No wonder most men are so depressed, all the things that they can't express. They go to war, get thrown on the shelf, then go back to war with their mental health. Then grab that bottle and ask for help, try to pull themselves out of hell, then fall back down and then realize that they're gonna have to do it themselves. It's the circle of life. As a man, you provide. They don't know what you're worth till the day that you die, and that's when they start crying. Then move on to a man to confide in. That's why we feel we can't hide ourselves. We don't expect you to understand. We just hope we can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and you don't care about what we know. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. Inside that home.
Welcome, welcome. What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. It's Thursday. It's not Monday. It's not our normal night. For men caring for men, unfortunately, the universe and Monday kicked all of our asses, so we had to do some rescheduling to get the show up for you guys this week. However, welcome to Men Caring for Men. It's the men's mental health show. As always, we got Jared Vichy in the building. Our
Hey
guy,
yo, hey
Jared.
yo, hey yo.
Connor's hanging out. And as usual, as soon as the show starts, his wife calls him 47 times. He's trying to do a show here, lady. And I'm Glick. I'm always here hosting this little shindig. We do have special guests in the building tonight. We got one half so far of Talking Shttt podcast. Our guy Mark, you guys have probably seen him on Nonsensical Nonsense hanging out with us a time or two. Mark, what's going on with you?
Not much. Waiting for Brian.
Yeah, Brian will be joining us here soon. Hopefully we'll also have comedian Bryce Tucker joining us as well down the road. Hopefully he'll be able to get in here. If you guys are not already, go ahead and check out the socials. We are on everything: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Show is live typically on Mondays on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, right around the 7:00 time. And you can listen to replays anytime, any place, wherever you listen to podcasts at, all at Nonsensical Nonsense. Yes, it is under the Nonsensical Network. Or you can go to bio.link/nonsensical nonsense. You can get all those links for all that social media there. If you guys be so kind, go give us a follow, give us a like, and give us a share. And while you're at it, go ahead and run on over and check out our guys at Talking Shttt. SHTTT is how shit is spelled. They're on Facebook, YouTube, and what do you guys are on? Instagram, TikTok?
Instagram, TikTok. That's about it. I mean, you can every once in a while we put something on Spotify or something like that. But
and they typically do their shows live on Thursdays, and they're on YouTube and Facebook Live.
And,
so
yeah, originally we were supposed to do this on Monday. I was I was okay with that, and then we had to postpone it. And look, the other half.
There's the other half of Talking Shttt.
The best half of Talking Shttt is here, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome.
I love how Connor just immediately looks down at him.
Well, that's the way you're supposed to.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I look at Brian, like this, and normally we have it the other way, but it's
I like the way that this is set up too. How we have to look down on you. This is the proper way to have it.
Wow.
This doesn't look right. We got to move Brian up and then move me down.
Then what the hell? Why is Steven up there?
Yeah, I would see. People are gonna get confused.
Yeah.
Thank you, though.
But originally when we first started talking about the show, I told you guys, I was like, man, I don't want to do it on the 21st, and I told you guys why. And I was like, and then after we had to postpone it on Monday, I was like, oh, fuck it. Let's do it.
I just realized today is the 21st. My bad, dude.
No, I'm the one that chose. You remember, I said, okay, let's do it Thursday. I knew what day it was. I knew what was going on. I knew my head was going to be a little, out there. But you know what?
It's a good place to be for that.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, my bad, man. I didn't even think about it. And you told me, and I was like, and now you just said that, and I'm like, oh, but you're right. You did say we do it today. We're taking over your guys' airtime for tonight, but I wanted to make sure you got your links up there.
We're live on ours, so that's okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, Monday really did a number on the Men Caring for Men show. Jarvis's wife was sick.
We were out.
Yeah, Jarvis's wife was sick, and he threw his back out. Connor said he was sick Saturday, all the way still into Monday, and then I was at work Monday. I got up, and I was excited for Monday, so I was like, typically I drag my ass out of bed on Monday, and I'm like, oh, it's Monday. I jumped right up out of bed. I was excited. I was ready. Got to work about 2 hours into being at work without being too graphic. My stomach just felt like shit, and I spent the rest of the day just dry heaving. And it was just like, it was just, I don't want to, I'll spare you all the details, but it was gross and it was extremely painful. So by the time I got home, I was talking to Mark and I said, well, Connor, I haven't talked to, but Jarvis is out. I'm feeling like shit, but I'm going to try to power through. And Mark was like,
No.
sick. Let's just not worry about it, because he said he had a bad day Monday as well. And I was like, all right, we'll go ahead and post. And then Bryce's son was sick too, so there was that. It was just like, damn, like the universe said, not today, fellas. We are not doing this. Not today. No way, no how.
And we still don't know if Bryce is going to show up or not. I think he said he'd probably try to jump in if his son was feeling better. So I messaged him earlier. I just 10 minutes ago and said, "Did you get the link?"
I sent him the link. I sent him the link.
Yeah,
okay.
If he's got the link, so he'll be able to jump in if he'd like to jump in. But I want to start the show like we always do. I want to ask the guys, and we got guests in the building, so I'll start with them. We always start the Monday night show just doing like a weekly bro check type deal. I want to check in and see how everybody's doing. I'm going to put Brian on the spot since he likes to talk. How you doing, Brian? How was your week last week? How's your week been going this week? How's everything going in your world, man?
Last week was pretty good. This week, I don't know. Today just was. We were off, dude. I was so far off. It's really hard because sometimes I want to slap people. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. As far as the job portion of it goes, I am still stressed about things that I need to do to be where I was last year, and I'm just not there. And I'm thinking that maybe it's time for me to move on and let these guys do what they need to do so that I can go do what I need to do. Sometimes it sucks. It sucks because I make really good money doing what I do, and I have a good time doing it. But when the job stops being fun, right, is when you have to look at yourself and you have to say, is it worth my my well-being? Because I feel like it's really doing a number on me.
Yeah, you gotta kind of step back and take a look and ask yourself, is this worth my time and energy? Am I putting too much energy into something that's not rewarding at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I totally get that, man. I totally understand that. I'm sure we've all been there at some point. I mean, I know I've had jobs that hell, when I lived down in Charleston, I loved working at Orkin, but I had to have that conversation with myself to the point where I had to come into the office and sit down and tell my managers that I wanted to talk to them and sit down and have a come to Jesus conversation with them, because it was starting to take a toll, not only on me physically, but everything else mentally that I had going on. That was just adding on to it at the time. And I mean, it was literally, it wasn't, I'm not here for your politics or your BS. This is exactly how things are going to be, or I'm walking. And they said, we'll do whatever we need to do to make it right by you. And I was grateful for that, because I love the job. I love the company. I still, I didn't stay with them when I came back home to Ohio, but that was more their branch up here. I still won't say a bad word about the company. And anytime somebody says, hey, I need pest control, Orkin's the first thing that I say, hey, call Orkin. A little bit expensive, but you're going to get the best guys. So I totally understand that, man. And sometimes we got to do that. We got to do what's best for us, not only us, but also our family.
Yeah. And if there was a guarantee out there for me where I could say, all right, well, I'm moving on because I have this guarantee, that, the hard part about it is I have something, but it's not a guarantee. You know what I mean? I can do something else and probably alleviate some of my stress, but there's no guarantee, and that's what scares me, though.
Do it.
You go selfie pics in your grody boxers.
I have to listen to that guy. And Jesus.
Brian
take it from the guy that does the Wookiee OnlyFans, okay?
Brian wants to do feet pics.
He makes good money off of it.
I would buy those. Don't even wash them after a long, hard day's work.
All right, well, listen, my feet pics are up at onlyfeet.com.
Shit.
Mark, how's everything going in your world? You know, how was last week? How's this week going for you? How you doing, man?
Last week was great. This week was great for the most part until today.
Today's a hard day.
Today is a hard day for me. And not only would it be my grandfather's 98th birthday, who passed away 2 years ago. Today is also the anniversary date of one of my really good friends who passed away. I knew her for over 30 years.
Wow.
She was a great friend. She's the only girl that ever punched me in the eye, make my eye bleed, and still I didn't get mad at her.
Sounds like
Because he had the hots for her.
You know, I did date her for a little while, yes. But I mean, she became a better friend, and you know, one of those things that, you know, she'd do anything that I wanted, just about. But
fucking Connor's like, sounds like a good friend.
Yeah, Connor's like, oh, tell me more.
But
she makes sandwiches.
Yeah, she makes good sandwiches.
God.
But yeah, it was a little hard today. But I talked to her family and stuff, and it made it a little bit better.
That's good. You know, yeah, like I said, I totally forgot about today and what, you know, and the date. But, you know, like I said, I'm glad you're here, man. And in all honesty,
I knew the date. I knew the date. I'm the one that picked it. Otherwise, I could have said it could have been Wednesday. It could have been, you know, Tuesday. I don't know if Connor would have been feeling better by Tuesday. And Steven's back was a little bit better by Tuesday. But, I mean, I could have picked Tuesday even, but I chose Thursday. I said, screw it. It gives me a different outlook. Yeah. It gives me something to.
Yeah, and it gives you the opportunity to, you know, anything that you want to, you know, it's so corny to say, and I'm not a big fan of the phrase, but it is what it is. It's, you know, this has become a safe place. You know, I've been shocked at these two gentlemen beside me, how much they've opened up and how much they've talked about things on here. Never expected it in a million years. So, you know,
for what I've known about Steven, it takes a lot for him to open up, but once he opens up, it comes out.
Yeah.
I've known Steven for 6 years now.
Yeah.
And it's been, you know, I've seen him up and down, you know, and I've seen him at his vulnerable state. I've seen him, you know, where he wanted to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So
listen, I've seen Mark on drugs.
That's
you don't want to see that.
Drugs.
That's besides the point. You also see me drunk. Right?
You got a good country heavy metal song here.
Yeah, right. No, you know, I've only known Jarvis for a few months, but he's a roller coaster ride. He's a lot to handle, but I mean that in a good way. I mean that in a good way. You know, Jarvis is my guy. You know, I knew that from Jump Street when we had him on as a guest on the show. I was like, this is a really cool kid, and it's been cool getting to know him even more. Speaking of Jarvis, how you doing, man? How's everything going in your world?
Oh, other than my back being totally fucked up on Monday, like so Saturday I told you I was at my wife's mom's birthday party, her 60th, and everything was going good, you know, all that. Came back home, jumped on, talked with you guys for a little bit, just dealing with some mental shit that day too, so I didn't stay for very long. Sunday morning my wife wakes up, she's like, I'm not feeling too well. I'm like, okay, you can sleep in the bed tonight. Well, then come Monday morning, she's 100% not feeling good, and I can't move.
Jeez.
And so
oh boy,
I knew I couldn't scream for Alyssa to come get me off the couch. So what did I do? I pretty much almost yeeted my computer into the wall and crawled to the bathroom where I used the tub to kind of like get me up. And so it was a shit show. And finally I was like, I just sat in the tub for seemed like 5 minutes, and I'm like, either I'm paralyzed or my body's just saying, hey, just stay here for right now, you're gonna be fine. And then
maybe
finally
you need to stop hanging out with me.
Yeah, dude, you put the expression "rode hard and put away wet" to a whole new level there, Connor.
What expression?
He's
Rode
young.
hard and put away wet. You never heard of that before? Damn. But
I know the expression.
It's basically the story of your life, Connor.
But then all of a sudden my back started loosening up, and I was like, okay, and took a quick shower, had put hot water, made sure it hit me on my back, and then it started loosening up more to the point where I could start walking normally, and I didn't look like fucking Quasimodo from Hunchback of Notre Dame or Mark from Willy Wonka and the fucking Chocolate Factory.
Oh my God, bro!
Love you, Mark.
Dude,
Love you, Mark. Love you, Mark. Love you, Mark.
I was gonna behave myself and not say anything bad about
bullshit. Oh bullshit. Give him.
Hey, Steven, here's my recommendation, man. It cost me. Well, it would cost me if I didn't have the VA. It would cost me $55 every time I went to the chiropractor. Chiropractor I went to yesterday does a world of works, dude, on your back.
Oh, I definitely need to go.
Neck, your back,
Doesn't yours also do electronic
happy endings?
No. I have to. So I have compressed disc in my back, in my spine. So they have to separate my spine because it gets compressed all the fucking time. So they put me on this table. It's like a torture table where they strap me in. It looks like a giant diaper, and then they hook me to a fucking to this metal cable that slowly just pulls the table apart. And while it's pulling the table apart, I'm just locked to one side of it. So it pulls that part of me apart. So it separates my spine. So
see, I'd be afraid of that because of my hip, both my hips.
So if you go to a chiropractor, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to do an x-ray on you to make sure they're not going to mess you up. Yeah. They know what they're doing. I mean, that's their job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're doing those TikTok videos.
Yep. I got told that if I got an adjustment that I would walk in and I would wheel myself out.
Oh, see.
But
so Connor's in an opposite direction. So
yeah.
Other than that, I've been doing okay. I felt so bad for Monday. I was like, I can tough it out if I have to, but I was like,
look, nobody showed up on Monday, so you're good.
I know.
Nobody's mad at you. We're not mad at you. We're not upset.
I wasn't worried about that. I was
like, Connor and I did have a conversation in private about what we were going to do. I mean,
here we go. I'm going to get fired again.
He's a brand new employee on the Nonsensical Network.
Motherfucker. Okay. Brand new employee that's bailed out how many of the fucking co-hosts on this show? Not saying Connor, but I will say certain guy in Mexico when Connor had puked 5 times in one show and still showed up. Just saying. Saying.
Connor's about to puke now. He's like, I'm done listening to it.
Steven.
Speaking of Connor, what's going on, man? What's going on in your world? What's going on?
It's been a good week, actually. My pain's been great. I've been walking without my boot and it doesn't fucking hurt. We won't talk about my back. We're making some progress on my house. Hopefully close on that here within the next week.
Did you get a hold of that priest for The Exorcist?
I'm not fucking with that dude. He's so fucking stupid. I'm not gonna get some priest to show up at my house and bless the house. It'll be all right. People have been living in it for years.
Listen, $20 you can hire a fucking on the street preacher, bro.
Yeah.
Or
Connor's gonna
go in there and pop some confetti. Good vibes. All right, we're good.
There you go.
Connor's gonna hear the spirit say "get out," and he's like, "Bitch, I own you now."
I've got paperwork.
You get out.
You've got to watch me masturbate in the bathroom every day.
Wow. Speaking of having
who's really trapped?
And And now I need to go call my therapist because I'm off and the ghost standing in the corner watching him going, I wish I could leave.
The ghost is crying and wanking at the same time.
Please call the priest. Keep fucking with me at night. See what happens.
Sometimes I regret the decision to ask you guys how your weeks are going.
But yeah, no, it's been a
Shit.
good week. We've made some good progress in the right direction. I've had my moments, good and bad, and yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good to see everybody's doing pretty good for the most part. You know, we're all going to have our hiccups and our hangups, you know, throughout the week. That's why I like to start the show just by checking on you guys and seeing how you guys are going. I will say one of my big stressors was eliminated the other day. I haven't really spoke too much on it, but the company that I'm currently with, I will no longer be employed by come the 31st.
Let's go.
Basically, they hit me with an okie doke and kind of slapped me in the face. Been with them for almost 2 years now, and you know, didn't have any complaints from my, you know, I work in property management, quote unquote maintenance, whatever. Where I was at, my buildings and properties that I had, my tenants were happy. They loved me. I got a call on a Friday afternoon that said effective Monday, you're no longer on these properties. You're now on another property, which added about 25 minutes to my commute. And it's in downtown Columbus, which I'm not a big fan of driving in Columbus or driving to Columbus. It's obviously, you know, it's a big city. But I love the area that I'm in. I'm down in the Arena District. My buildings are right across the street from Nationwide Arena where the Blue Jackets play. On the other side of us is our minor league baseball team. So I'm in a good area. I love my buildings. I love my tenants. But my first day there, I was informed that our company is backing out of their contract, and when their contract is up, I'm no longer employed by them, which I felt was kind of a slap in the face, because then a couple of days later, I'm in a company meeting because I was told they didn't have any place to transfer me to. And I find out we have 2 empty buildings with no technicians in them, and they're still hiring technicians like crazy. So in a matter of a week, this company, in my opinion, slapped me in the face 3 times and basically just shit all over me. So I'm in panic mode, freak out mode, because I know I got to the end of this month and I don't know what's going to go on. And I'm kind of stuck in limbo because there's a good chance that when the board of the building I'm in decides on the new company is going to not only take me on, but also my property manager. And she was in the same boat I'm in. Both of us kind of stuck in limbo, kind of like, do we freak out? Do we not freak out? Do we go in full on panic mode? Like, what the hell are we doing? You know, we don't know.
You need a backup plan.
Yeah. And I didn't want to go start putting putting applications out and doing interviews and stuff just on the small chance that this new company would take us on.
That's a small chance though, right?
Well, it quote unquote small chance. I mean, everybody kept reassuring us, look, when this happens, 9 times out of 10, they keep the existing people in, they offer them jobs because they don't want to have to hire somebody else and train somebody else. I'm still relatively new, but it's a simple building. It's their basic buildings, nothing crazy. Nothing that, I mean, I've had bigger, I've taken care of bigger buildings, bigger properties. This is pretty basic. I mean, this is a walk in the park for me at the end of the day. However, the board agreed on a new company, and the day that they signed the paperwork, my property manager and myself both got a phone call from the new company, and they basically said, well, the gentleman that I spoke to, he said, Chris, I met you when we came in and toured the property. I got to talk to you. I really like you. You know what you're doing. We're really excited that we got to meet you. But before I say what I want to say, I got to ask you a question. Do you have any intentions on leaving? I said, and I told him, I said, I love the building. The tenants I've got to meet are great. I love the area. I'm looking forward to the spring and summer down here. I said, my only negative is the drive. But outside of that, I don't plan on going anywhere if you guys want me to stick around. I said, however, there's the issue with money, because I make X amount of money right now.
Mm-hmm.
and I can't take any less. And he was like, first and foremost, we want you on the team. We don't want you to go anywhere. We want you to stay, and don't worry about the money. More than likely, we're going to get you more money. So I was like, let's fucking go. Let's go. And so that was finally like, that like weight lifted off of my chest was great. That was a great way to start my week out. And I've been kind of riding that high because now, you know, I've been there almost 2 months, and like my property manager, her and I were talking today, and she's like, I kind of feel like an asshole. She's like, because I didn't show you the building. I didn't, you know, like do the things I should have done for you coming in. And I said, I totally get it, because like I told you, I wasn't starting, like there's projects that I want to do because this is my building. And I want like my storage area set up the way I want it. I want my office and everything like that. I said, but I wasn't starting anything I wasn't going to do shit just for somebody else to come in here. So, you know, I've just kind of been here. And she's like, yeah, that's kind of how I've been too. Just kind of been here, you know, just, we almost feel like we were ghosts in the building. We were there and I would do the things I had to do, you know, but outside of that, it was a bare minimum because I didn't want to start anything or do anything until I knew for sure if I was staying. So today we got to have that conversation where it was like, both of us were just like, okay, a weight's been lifted. We know we're not going anywhere. Now we can start moving forward to the future. And I told her, I said, this is my game plan at the end, because I'm off all next week. I said, when I come back after my vacation, quote unquote vacation, I said, this is my plan moving forward, what I want to do and start working on. She's like, I love it. She's like, I've been the guy that was here before you. I tried to do that for 2 years with him and he wouldn't do it. And she's like, that makes me excited, because she was afraid that I was going to leave. She didn't want me to leave. You know, I have the tenants all knew that I was coming before I was coming. They were excited because they all got to look at my resume and see my resume. So they were excited for me. This new company seen my resume before they met me. So they were excited to meet me. And it's just like, I'm in a place where everybody's like, they were excited for me to get there, and they're excited for me to be there. And now she was like, you know, I was terrified not only of not having a job, but if they did make us the offer that you weren't going to stay, because I finally have a good maintenance guy in the building that I know that I can rely on and trust and everything. What's going on, Benj? What's going on, Jeeves? Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, Chris. So yeah, just like a huge weight, and now being able to plan for the future and move forward, it's really kind of just, even though I got other stuff that I got to deal with this week that's weighing on me, or next week, but I'll get through that too. It's just, that was one thing that was lifted. It was just like, oh my God. Like, you know, I hated, it was almost being like in purgatory at the end of the day. Cause I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know what was going to happen. And it's like, I've gotten accustomed to, you know, making a certain amount of money. So the fact that they were like, don't even worry about a thing, you know?
Yep. No, that's, listen, at least you have that good rolling into this upcoming, I mean, shit, dude, we're getting ready to roll into April.
Yeah.
And, you know, things are going to happen, dude. Right. So hopefully that happens for a lot of us, though. I mean, that's, and I'm in that same situation. I mean, that's why I said the stress of the job, dude. It's literally the stress of the job.
Yeah.
Drives me fucking crazy. It drives me fucking crazy.
That stress, man, it was wearing me out, man. It, like, on top of a few other things, but that was, it just wears you out, man, physically and physically, yeah. and mentally, man. That job stress, financial stress, it just wears thin on you. And hey, hashtag 420. But anyways, yeah, you know, that's so, and it feels good because I was holding back, and I didn't want to say any, and I still didn't say anything negative. I didn't want to say anything negative, and I didn't want to, you know, start any fires that I couldn't put out.
I mean, the big thing with it, with you being with the company for such a little time, man, that's why I was like, if it was me, I'd have probably already been looking. I'd have been like, look, the company is getting bought out by somebody else. Just in the event that it doesn't favor me, what can I do that's going to benefit me? Because from this year, from where I'm at now to last year, I've already lost $10,000. It's fucking crazy, and it's not getting better. It's not like, oh, don't worry, you're going to scoop that 10,000 somewhere else. It's only going to get worse. And it sucks because being in sales, you're on a scale where your shit goes up and it goes down and it goes, you know what I mean? It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But I've always been, I don't know, dude. I've always worked my tail feather off to be one of the top guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I work hard and I try to play harder, but I don't have enough time to play.
Yeah, no,
so I'm all about work. That's
yeah.
It. So when you guys are laughing at me because I'm showing a fucking $50,000 razor, listen, dude, I want somebody to come win this fucking thing, but the people that don't win it, I want them to come and buy something from me because those people help pay my bills.
See, now
don't worry,
and that's the God's honest truth.
In like 2 years, you'll be rolling in the money once all that pyramid money rolls in from Jeff.
I'm still waiting on Jeff, dude. I signed up over how many months ago did I meet you guys? 2 months ago? 2 months ago?
A couple months ago.
Couple months ago. You're still waiting about 5 more years, buddy.
How are you there yet, Steven? Have you made it to the top of the pyramid? Or are you in the middle still? Where are you at?
I didn't buy into that shit. I ain't that stupid. Jeff can try and sell anyone, but he ain't getting me.
By the way, we're moving to Paris.
Oh, nice. Is that part of the deal?
Jeff and Brian are assuming new identities.
Shut up. My name's not Brian. I'll make
No, Jeff and Brian are assuming new identities. Brian changes his name to Jeff, and Jeff changes his name to Brian. We've got them. We have fooled them all.
They'll never know.
No, exactly. I mean, and I'm sure we've all been there, and it's just one of those, like we've talked on the show, and it's the stress of, and whether people want to believe it or not. And I know a lot of people kind of poo-poo on the idea or don't want to listen to it. As men, it's ingrained to us. It's built into our DNA that we are providers and protectors and this, that, and the other thing. And so, like, financially in jobs, they take a heavy toll on us. If you go from being on one tier or doing, making X amount of money and providing a certain type of way, and then you start to slide off, like, it really starts to, I mean, Connor and I have talked about it with his situation. It really starts to take a toll on you, and not only, like I said, physically, but man, it'll start getting. It starts to live rent free in your head, and you can't shake it.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I'm for the most part, I'm glad everybody, had a good week, and hopefully, Brian's, your situation will take a turn for the better. And it'll start to work out.
I hope so, man. It's either that or something's got to give, and that's the big thing. And that's why when Mark was like, "Hey, do you want to talk about anything on specific on the show?" He was like, "Are you going to open up and talk about anything?" I mean, that's my high stress right now, guys. I mean, that's it. I mean, my wife owns a food truck. That's her stress. I stress about it because I just put new gas lines in that sumbitch. I don't want nothing to happen to them.
You finally did it?
It's done. Yeah, it's done. So
I seen the pictures of it crimped. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, so it could have had a pinched. It could have been pinched, but it could have had a hole in it, and
Right.
with propane and stuff like that. I mean, where she's up against a metal wall, and she's got this heat, so that's where all your gas lines are. So it's like, what do you do? You can only try to fix what you can fix. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, and like when Mark and I, when we talked about this, and when Mark and I talked about different things, I wanted to make sure you guys knew, we can have the conversations about anything, but I don't want you guys to feel like you have to talk, like, obviously I don't want you to sit there like,
yeah, Steven.
Like Steven's doing right now. He's watching TV.
But at the same time, like if you start
Mark.
to, feel a little, uncomfortable, or even if you're talking about something and I did it for Jarvis, and I can see that it's starting to get a little too heavy or a little too hard, or to talk about or whatever, I can
change the subject,
slide in, interject, and kind of keep it moving forward. And I want all guys to know that. I mean, because I've encouraged our listeners, if they're interested in coming up, to hit us up on the social media and let me know, and we can send up a day, a Monday when they're available, and get them the links and stuff like that. Yeah. But we only have to talk about, like I said, we were talking about trauma, and I only dip my toes into the water about some of the stuff that I've been through and gone through, and the stuff that I still live with every day. But that was just because I don't know if it's that I'm not ready for it. I just don't want to dive into that world again. I mean, I don't want to relive it too much. I already do on a daily basis.
Dude, our shows, both of our shows, when you're not doing this show here, both of our shows are supposed to be fun, energetic, entertaining, and that's what I see it for as far as doing it, So to come on this, I mean, to be here, man, I appreciate you guys saying, hey, it's all good, man. We got you if you need something. So I appreciate the hell out of it. But what I always, and Steven, you too, man. I mean, even though we fuck with you and we joke around, you are a huge supporter of myself too, and I greatly appreciate it, dude. So
well, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all in this together. It's not just that, when I met Mark, it was different time. Mark was more, I call him now more my fucking my Oompa Loompa Yoda. Because, I mean, the motherfucker...
I'll take Yoda over Oompa Loompa.
You just got to get all the short jokes. Like, don't you, the Punchkin Guild, Oompa Loompa, Yoda, Frodo, Baggins.
I mean, this ain't as bad as what me and him used to say to each other during Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
No,
it took me a while. When we first started this, when we first started talking shit, the first thing I told Brian is I want to do a mental health show one day. And Brian bucked at it for a while. It took a long time for me to convince him, okay, let's do this. And I told him that, I watched your show and I watched what you were doing. And I was like, oh, hell, I like that idea. And I didn't want to run with your idea and just take it. I wanted to help with it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a great idea. And I encourage it.
It's Connor. I think it's Connor.
What?
I think Connor's messing with his headset.
Oh, I don't know. He's got his.
Are you getting the feedback? Are you getting?
I'm getting feedback. I just don't know where from.
Yeah, I don't either.
He muted it because he was having some issues. He kept moving it around, so
he was also dealing with his kids.
No, and I, when we talked about it, I encouraged you guys, whether you want to do your own thing or if you wanted to jump on board with us, you guys are more than welcome. And it was crazy because this is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. And I wanted Monday nights to be that. But it's also kind of weird because people got so used to seeing the nonsensical nonsense version where we'll call a spade. We're loose cannons. We're unhinged. And we just, whatever pops into our head, it's unfiltered. It's just like, whatever happens. Fuck it. We're just going to throw shit on the wall and see what sticks. So when I started this show, and I've had quite a few people that had been getting on, like, Glick, where's the mental health show? Glick, come on, because I had some serious moments on the Nonsensical Nonsense show, and moments where I had opened up or Jeff had opened up, and they're like, where's the show? We want you to do the show. I didn't want to do it by myself because, hey, how hard is that to have a conversation about men's mental health if you're the only one there? And it was finding the right people. And with Connor's situation, and as I talked to him, I said, right now you're you're riding the storm, brother. I said, you're going through the storm and you feel like your world's going to hell. I said, but at the end of the day, as bad as things get and as bad as things seem, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I hate that phrase.
Yeah,
I believe it though. I
believe
absolutely
it.
believe it.
Everything
that has happened is I'm like, dude, I'm glad that this happened because of this. But then there's things that I'm like, dude, I wish this would have never happened.
Exactly.
You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to go back.
Take back.
Okay, I can look now and I can go, yeah, I understand why these things have happened and why, and it got me to the place I am today. But and I told Connor, I was like, you have a lot of positives to look at right now. Yes, you lost your military career, but now you're going to start your new career as your own boss. Going into gunsmithing and stuff like that. And I said, now you have an opportunity that we've talked about for since I started the podcast, him being on the show, and then the opportunity to do this show, which is something that I've wanted to do. And Connor jumped right on board, and then it just kind of fell into place. One night we were having a conversation, and Jarvis popped in on here, and it was like, holy shit, Jarvis is, say what you want to say about the guy. We give him hell, but Jarvis was a perfect fit into this show and into this format, and to be a part of the conversations. And I'm grateful for everybody who's taken part of it, and the guys who listen and the guys who hang out, even the women who listen, because I was kind of taken back at the amount of women that are listening to the show and the positive feedback that we're getting from it. And I told Marcus, you guys, I would love for you guys to be as much a part of it as you want to, or do your own thing, and we can still support each other and help each other out and pop in on, on the shows or whatever the case may be. But it's all about being open and being willing to show a little bit of vulnerability. Let our defenses down for a couple few hours, whatever. And
Chris, I'm not crying on this fucking show.
We're gonna get you crying before you know it, boy.
Blake,
I'm not doing
that picture I showed you last week.
I have that, and I was going to ask you.
No, you will. I'm going to let you share it, but not.
Yeah, I was going to show it when we come back from the break, because I wanted to show it, and I wanted you to kind of share as much and go down, because I know we've kind of tiptoed with your.
I've never told you the whole story. Brian didn't know the whole story until last week.
Yeah,
he never seen the picture because I never really showed people the picture. My children only know it because we still have the picture around.
Yeah,
Chloe, my one daughter, lived it. But Brian, did you show Stacy that picture?
I think Stacy said she saw that picture before.
Okay. The rest of the people, I don't show that a whole lot. That was a day that was horrible, but yeah, it happened for a reason, like you said, and I'm still trying to figure out why.
Yeah,
just like his time at the Wonka factory.
Everything happens for a reason. Remember?
Hey! Listen here, you serial
killer. A lot of people don't like that phrase. Everything happens for a reason, and I understand why, because as much as I believe in it, and I believe that, and I believe that people come into our lives for us to learn a lesson, or whether it be a past relationship, or a friendship, an ex-friendship, a former friend, a job, whatever the case may be. I feel like people come into our lives, and some of them teach us negative lessons that we can either learn from and grow, or we're not going to pay attention to and make the same mistakes. I had somebody that came into my life for a very short time that taught me that it's all right, because I let people walk all over me. And they taught me, hey, it's all right for you to stand up for yourself. It's
not
all right
you,
to put your foot down. And through that lesson, I mean, granted, they were only in my life for a very short period of time, but I, out of that encounter, I guess you can say, I was able to put my foot down and start getting rid of a lot of toxic people in my life. And nothing against my parents. I love my dad to death. He's my dad, and I love my stepmom to death. She's my stepmom, and she helped raise me. But they were two big toxic people in my life, and it finally gave me the courage and to realize I can put my foot down because I need to get rid of the toxic people in my life. And I'm not going to fucking feel bad about it.
And you shouldn't.
Only a few of my friends have I got left from back from when I used to drink. And some stood by me no matter what I've done. And he's right next to me is one of them. And then there's a few others that have stuck by me. The rest of them I've told to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing, Mark. The big thing with that is I mean, you know, since the day we first met, I already told you, like, hey, dude, when we're friends, dude. That's it. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter. We didn't talk for years because I was gone and I was trying to,
we would talk, or it would be once a year, or
once a year. Or hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing there? What's Citrus County like? You know, that kind of stuff.
Shitty.
You know,
I told him never to come back here, and he did it anyways.
I had to.
But,
don't come back.
But Brian was one of the friends that, you know, always wanted something good for me. Didn't want me to go down the wrong road. I did it anyways because, well, I blame it on him. He left anyways. So
we did dumb shit. Listen, we did dumb shit together. Correct. Think about this. We used to drink on the power lines when we were underage. You know, you're trying to give me piggybacks. It ain't working. You're face first in the dirt. So, but
yeah,
listen,
I mean, I still taste the sand in my mouth that day.
We've always.
I love you too, buddy.
I didn't know Jeff's last name was Hawk. I didn't know he was related to Tony.
He's not. Don't let him lie. No, Jeff and I are the same way. I mean, Jeff and I have been friends for almost 30 years now. God damn, that's a long time to put up with him. But I mean, there was a time where we went years without talking to each other. And then he would randomly pop up on Facebook and we would chit chat. And I think up until we started this show, we were on one of those hiatuses where we hadn't talked to each other in several years. I knew he was still down in Mexico, and he popped up in my TikTok live one day, and then got all butthurt because he was trying to talk to me, and I didn't realize it was him. But he had KTMK or KTKM Productions is his name on TikTok, and I had no idea it was him. And then when since I realized it was him, now we spend 2 to 3 nights a week doing podcasts, and we still talk throughout the week, almost every day, every other day. But my circle got real small in the last year and a half, almost 2 years. My circle's gotten really, really small.
And sometimes you got to keep it small, dude.
When I stopped drinking, I had friends that actually told me, "Well, you're not drinking. We don't want you around." Okay, fine. Fuck you. I don't want you around me at all.
Yeah.
See,
listen, I'm different. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna drink this beer. You don't have to, but it's right here in case you want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Brian's never, since I quit drinking.
But I won't force it on him either.
I never had to worry about that. He was like, I'm gonna drink a beer. Does that bother you? No, drink away. I don't care. I like seeing people act funny.
Oh yeah, our friend Tim, he does a mental health show with Gemma, and he's a recovering alcoholic, been sober for a little bit now. And when I learned that about him, I asked her, I said, does it, like, if you come on the show and hang out with us or whatever, or when you're watching the show, does it bother you if I'm drinking? Because I don't want to be that guy that's gonna be like, wow, dude, you're a dick, man. And Tim didn't want to be that guy that was going, wow, I can't believe you're sitting here drinking right in front of me. And I didn't want to be the guy who was drinking in front of somebody who was recovering, going, hello, bet you wish you had one of these, So I asked the question, and I've got a couple buddies that are, recovering addicts and recovering alcoholics and stuff. And when we would hang out, I'd be like, hey, if you guys don't want me to drink, and they're like, we don't care, man. Just go ahead. I was like, all right. I just want to make sure that,
The first year that I quit drinking, the second time the first year, it was a little harder for me to be around the beer because, I still, had the urge. Mm-hmm. After that first year, it didn't bother me. But of course, I had other things, oxys at the time because of the fact that I was my hip, the pain in my hip, and them screwing my leg up. The pain management doctor gave me those, so I went from drinking to that, and then finally to the morphine to getting off of that.
Yeah, I want to. That's I think I was going to dive a little bit into that.
That's only a little bit.
Yeah, with the picture situation, I wanted to dive into that some with you as well, because I know we've kind of tiptoed around that conversation.
I wasn't going to tell you until this show, anyways.
Yeah,
you would never got me to answer any questions on that, except for the fact that my wife and kid both were great.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Jeff actually joining us?
What the? Sure. Oh, I thought he was naked there for a second. I thought we were about to get a dick
So
bombed.
did I.
Jeff just woke up, boys.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually cooking.
Nice.
Jeff, how are you, buddy?
I'll say my tip different day.
Yeah, Jeff.
Right. Now I gotta look up.
I'm in the kitchen cooking. So.
Well, welcome to Men Caring for Men. How's your week been? How's everything going for you, brother? How's your mind right now?
My mind is golden. I actually got good news today, and work-wise, and the weekend's looking bright. And I just finished watching Roadhouse, and it was fucking totally worth it.
The medicines work. The gonosyphilitis is healing up. Is that good news?
I got my little lotion. Just rub it in.
I thought the good news was the pyramid scheme. He was on the top of it finally. He's getting paid finally.
He finally made the top tier.
Mark, you want to leave the jokes to me?
Yeah. On that part.
Let me explain why it's funny.
Man.
Let me explain why it's funny.
Oh damn! It's the Monday night thing, so we don't have.
Jeff,
I don't know. Jeff, I don't know if you know this or not, but Joe Biden is just Hillary Clinton with a smaller dick.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
okay. Okay, I was just making sure.
No.
So
Wait,
somebody in this room knew, and I knew it had to be Jeff. Like, hey, you got me on this one, right?
I didn't know Joe Biden had a dick.
It fell off a long time ago.
Well, before the wheels fall too far off, let's go ahead and take a real quick break.
Connor, that's yours, right? That's your. Is that your system?
You got feedback, Connor? I'm not hearing any feedback. So
I hear it, but not. It's like every 5 minutes or so.
No, we were getting it before you came in, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Is it me?
I'm not hearing it.
Well, I thought that's why you were messing with your stuff earlier.
Well, because this mutes me and unmutes me. So if you're hearing it without my mic up, if you're hearing it with my mic up, then it's not me.
Okay.
I think it's Steven because Steven usually has the issues, but it could very well be me.
It's Steven's fault. We'll just blame Steven.
Steven likes to jerk off his microphone.
He's the only comedian in the room.
Somehow he ended up in last
welcome
place
to
on
Men
this
Caring
board
for
right
Men,
now.
everyone, where Steven
Where
usually
we
wants to
abuse
jump out a
Steven.
fucking window.
Oh, you'll be
please
fine.
don't do
It's
that.
not that far of a drop to the snow.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Cushions you will.
It's not like you don't have 20 feet of snow up there in Canada right now.
You live in a basement. What the fuck?
It's 15. Get it
Say
right.
Canada.
Jarvis climbs out on the window ledge. Goodbye, cruel world.
And Snow Angels. He's doing Snow Angels. He's like, is this it?
God
Must be it.
damn you.
Did you just say he lives in Canada's basement?
Southern Canada,
Is
yeah.
that what you said?
No. He said Canada. I said, but you live in a basement because he was talking about jumping off of the balcony. You can't jump off a balcony. You live in a
I live
basement.
on the top floor, you dumbass.
That's called a hole in the insulation. It's
Yeah.
not a balcony.
Show me the window.
My
Show me the window.
apartment's on the top
He lives
floor.
on the top floor.
Show me the
where
window.
everybody else just calls
You
it.
see how far down it is.
It ain't that far.
Okay.
It's probably, I could literally jump out there without snow and wouldn't even get hurt.
Is it snowing right now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see?
Are you
It's
serious?
not-
That's
It's like a
fucking hilarious.
mattress. It's like a
It's
mattress.
not snowing as bad as what they said it was, but it just started again. So yeah. And then Sunday we're supposed to get another huge snowstorm. I wonder if
Why
my
is
aux port and my mic's going bad now.
I'll give
You're
you
fine.
the funds.
You're fine right now. So
Yeah.
we'll let you know when it happens again.
It goes
then
in and out, but when I mute myself, then I can still hear it. So I don't know.
I was just gonna
Yeah,
say, if you
so-
unplug the mic, if we're having a problem and we take turns unplugging our mics, we'll figure out who's got the issue.
It's probably Brian.
If it's
Oh.
me, I'll fucking unplug the shit, dude. Look, here's my plug.
Blame Jarvis.
You're good.
It's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Well, you got to wait for it to start, anyways, because
No, I'm good.
I'm just gonna look at mic settings. Yep. Okay.
Looks
I know
like it.
mine
Let me
were-
go ahead and check mine out too, real quick. Make sure it's.
Well,
like
I know mine were jacked up yesterday.
It could be my aux port too on this. It might be.
when it
dirty.
happens again, somebody just fucking call it out and be like, "Hey, we'll pick a person and be like, hey, we think it's you.
Yeah,
Unplug your
there we
shit. See what happens." That's
Someone's
all.
getting into like a traumatic story. Hey, motherfucker, who is it?
But
Your
anyway,
story doesn't matter.
yeah, I would take a real quick break. Before we go to break, obviously, I want to shout out one of our sponsors. And as we all know, part of good mental health is physical health, taking care of your body. It's going to help get your mind right. And one of our good friends is going to help do that. Liquid IV will make sure you're properly hydrated because, hydration is very important to our physical well-beings. And a lot of people are not properly hydrated. They think they are, but they're not. And the great thing about Liquid IV, not only the fact that it does come with so many great flavors to choose from, but you can also get the benefits that you're not getting from water alone or those overpriced sports drinks. For instance, one packet of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water is going to hydrate you 2 times faster than water alone. You're going to have 3 times the electrolytes of those leading sports drinks and 5 essential vitamins as well. So as we all know, because we all grew up in a certain era, and we were told to say our prayers and take our vitamins by the Hulkster. So we know that vitamins are good.
And some of the vitamins meant this.
Yeah.
Good vitamins.
Yeah.
Yep. Real people, real flavor, real hydration. Head on over to liquidiv.com. Use our promo code Words Are Hard. You're going to save 20% off your entire order when you shop Better Hydration today at liquidiv.com with promo code Words Are Hard. We'll play a real quick song here. Got a cover of Tears for Fears / Carrie Jules' Mad World. I like to pick music to kind of go with the show. And
Damn, I thought you were gonna play Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
no. And I love the song, and I love the meaning behind this song because it is about a young man who feels like he's alone in the world, dealing with depression and dealing with other mental issues. So enjoy the song. Listen to the words, if you will, and we'll be back here in just a few minutes.
Fuck whoever put that.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, riding early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Have my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kinda funny, find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Mad world. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Made to feel the way that every child should. Sit and listen, sit and listen. Went to school and I was very nervous. No one knew me, no one knew me. Hello teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Look right through me, look right through me. And I find it kinda funny, find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Mad world. Enlarged world.
Cover of Tears for Fears, Mad World. That young man did an amazing job. I wish I would have caught his name. Let's see if it shows it here. But it's not going to. Amazing job he did on that song. I love that song. I'm with you, Benj. That's one of my favorite songs. I've always loved that song. We started the show out. I meant to say this. Excuse me. We started the show out with Dax's new song, "To Be a Man," with featuring Darius Rucker. I did when I was looking to download that song, and Mark and I were talking about it before the show. There was a almost 11-minute version of that song where it was a mega mix with a whole bunch of TikTok.
I was happy. It was great on the it was great on the lyrics that they used. The other people added to the song. It's just like Dear Alcohol. That was another one. You told me about the remix that they did with all that, and that was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Even his song "Depression" is actually a good song too.
I like Depression. I like Dax. I'm a big fan of Dax. I'm actually hoping to get him on the music show at some point. We just got to get those open lines of communication going. But
there's a whole lot of those guests that we've been working on, dude. So.
Yeah, I know he's blowing up right now, and he's got a lot of things going on in his world. But however, welcome back to Men Caring for Men. We have the guys from Talking Shttt joining us. Mark and Brian are here. Then I have my usual suspects. Connor, my guy Connor, Jaravici, and a rare appearance from Jeffrey on a Men Caring for Men podcast show. And then you guys know me, I'm Slick. And shout out to the Chatters Box. We see you guys. Appreciate you guys being here and partaking in the show and the conversation. If you guys aren't already, go ahead and check out the socials. Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Don't forget, we do the show typically on Monday nights at 7 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can catch us live, and then you can also listen anytime, any place, wherever you listen to podcasts at. And that's all at Nonsensical Nonsense, or you can head on over to bio.link/nonsensical nonsense, and all the links for all the social media is there, including links to our sponsors, like I just told you guys about Liquid IV, liquidiv.com, your hydration destination. Words are hard. You're going to save off every order. W Energy, W.GG. Join us as we wage war on big energy. Use our promo code at checkout. And for broadcasters, podcasters, and streamers out there, if you guys want to check out Zencastr, your all-in-one super easy spot to get everything you need. Zencastr.com/pricing. Words are hard. 30% off your first month's paid plan. Just to knock out the confusion, yes, it is all under Nonsensical Nonsense. Most of you guys know me from Nonsensical Nonsense. We've kind of created a little bit of a network, so to say. So Monday nights are Men Caring for Men. Tuesday nights is Dollars and Cents. Wednesday nights is Nonsensical Nonsense. Thursdays, we take the night off because we let our guys do their thing. We let them shine over at Talking Shttt. You can find them at Talking Shttt, SHTTT, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. They're kind of all over the place. Give them a follow. Check out their show on Thursday nights. And then if you're up late on Thursday nights, go ahead and check out Late Night Parents. And don't forget, every Thursday, 3 p.m. our time, States time, Eastern time, Helen's mixtape is released on 360radio.com. And Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings, our guy Fireman Rich gets you guys up and ready bright and early for his morning and coffee show. And then Jarvis, he just does a lot of random things, you know.
Yeah.
But you can find
the Jaravisi Project.
Yeah, the Jaravisi Project, the Jarvis Podcast, Jarvis Demon on Twitch.
hold on, Glick. Brian, you want to try that one again, buddy?
The Jaravisi Project. Did I say it wrong?
Yes,
it's actually, hey, it's the Jim.
Hey, Mark, you're the only one who didn't join in.
Hey, we all yell at the same time, like true Italian style.
Boppity, boppity, boopity.
Hey, yo, Jaravisi, can I have this? Hold on.
Spaghetti.
Oh, hold on, Jaravisi, can I get the soup a day or soup de jour? It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on with the show.
I think I got everybody in there. I think I got all of our friends in there. In all of our shows. God, we do a lot of stuff.
You missed Saturday's Men Coming for Men.
Men
coming for men. Wait, whoa.
That's Saturday nights.
Yes, let's not forget about and every other Friday is Glick's House of Music on these same channels. And then Saturday nights is Nonsensical Nonsense, but with a twist. We drop the link. We open the door. We call it the Open Door Challenge. We dare you guys to join us and come live on the show. You can come live on the show, or you can just come on the show. I mean,
I'm almost done.
Every night, baby. Every night.
Connor's like, damn.
You guys do it on Saturday. You guys do it on Saturdays.
Yeah.
We do it once a month. So check us out as well. So if you got the balls enough, come over. Jump on the show on Saturday.
Brian, it's yours.
Is it me? It is me? Fuck off.
I could tell when you started talking. That's when I could tell.
Is this better? Is this better?
Mr. Ponzi.
Even your microphone doesn't like you.
Ooh, Mr. Ponzi scheme man, you know, fucking, I can afford all these things, but yeah, I can't afford fucking decent mic.
Okay, first of all, I never said I can afford anything. That's why I do podcast.
Second of all, it's a pyramid scheme, not a Ponzi scheme. Come on, get it right.
15 cents. You should be doing pretty
well.
well.
What a Ponzi scheme is? How do I do that? Teach me, Jeff.
Oh, I got your back. I got your back.
Please teach me.
Yes. Are you guys gonna make that a staple moving forward? Once a month, you guys gonna open the door.
We're gonna do once a month. One weekend a month. We're gonna open it up.
Once we figure out the name too. I mean, we keep going back and
dare
forth.
I like the dare.
Okay, we'll stick with that then.
I like the dare. It's a hot link. It's a hot link, but you don't want to put a hot dog on the fucking screen. So
well, I don't want to put it to say the dare link because
that's how Glick got us mostly on the show. So why not?
Yeah,
Glick.
He posted a picture of a hot dog. What the fuck? Is that shit? What is it?
It's only a kilo. It's a pound and a half of spaghetti.
Holy shit.
What is it, hot dog spaghetti?
No.
That's
He's
what
not
he
fucking Sheldon, you fucking weirdo.
What he fails to mention is that's his bowl. That pound and a half of spaghetti is
that's
his
for me. Everybody else can fucking stay on.
Holy shit.
But Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I told Mark, I was like, I'm trying to think of a name too for you guys as well to kind of help out. But like I said, some are going to be a success, some are going to be a miss. I'm still mad at the guys on my show.
So far, a miss.
Yeah. Hey! You guys had the champ on your show last
No,
week.
I'm just.
No,
we need more people than one to two people.
Brian, our last one, last week, I think we did pretty good compared to some of the other ones where we had nobody.
Last week was good.
Hey, listen, we had Gene on the show, so
last week was good. I'm mad at my guys for not popping in and saying hi, but you know what? That's neither here nor there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll pull the thumb on that one. That's my fault.
Before we get any further, hey Connor, I got a question for you.
I got an answer for you.
Okay, we're going to be doing a military show in sometime in May, and we'd like to invite you onto our show for that.
I'm always here, man. Yeah.
Hey, Brian.
Give me a shout. Give me a holler.
Do you still have your?
Brian,
yes.
We're going to be doing a vet show at some point in time whenever Connor gets off of his lazy.
Yeah, I haven't picked a date yet. You dumb cunt. How about you just fuck off?
I know you're a vet too, and much like Mark did, I don't want to piggyback off of Mark and poach his co-host, but we do want to invite you on for that show. It'll be a Men Caring for Men episode, but it will be for the vets to kind of come on, and I want to address. I'm going to try to let Connor host that, but I tried last week and he's not.
You're such a prick.
Yeah,
you're such a prick.
I'm telling you right now, when it comes to the military part of it, once you get military men in there or women, you're no longer the host.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah,
you don't need a host once we start.
Oh, Glick, he'll be like, wait a second, I'm not feeling wanted. I gotta take over the show again.
Glick will try to ask the question or do something. That's it. He's like,
it's all he's good for.
It's because it's
true. Make fun of the host, Jarvis. That's the rule.
Yeah, I can. That's why I got kicked off the other fucking shit.
Last week Connor's not yet comfortable in the host seat, which is fine. We'll work that. We'll work on that. But I do want to just kind of that show. I'll come in and do the introductions and stuff like that. And I'm going to have questions, but I do want to address the issues, especially mentally wise, that our vets deal with, and talk about obviously the 22 a day, which is not good in any way, shape, and or form, and other issues. But I'll kind of slightly steer the conversations. But outside of that, I'm just going to kind of let you guys do your thing.
When we did ours, it was, I sat back, I asked one question. That's all I had to do was ask one question. Every so often I would try to ask another, but fuck that. Yeah. And it was like, okay, they were doing great. And then I had my friend Wes, who called me the next day or afterwards and said, hey, look, that was a great show. Thank you for doing it. I loved it. It helped me get some of my, some of the stuff that I've been thinking about out. And, my younger brother, he was on the show too. And, we just went with it. It was great. This time around, we have Rob Mello from, what the hell's the name of the movie again?
Is that what it is? Is it Lack?
No.
No, Rob is from. He was from Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day.
Yeah. Dude,
he's the baby. He's the babyface killer.
Yeah, that was a great interview. Yeah. Nikki and I were, and she hasn't seen the movie yet, but they've got the babyface mask at Walmart, and I was like, "Oh, that's from Happy Death Day." Oh, Mark and Brian had the killer on their show, and she was like, "Spoiler alert!" I was like, "Shut up! You didn't even watch it."
But so far, that's the only one. And Connor now is our second one, and we're still debating on who else we're going to pick up and do. I just want to try to get. I want to get other people.
Real quick, boys. I'm going to jump off. I'm going to get something to eat, and then I'm going to take a nap. I'm fucking fried.
Oh, good night, Jeff.
Thanks
for coming in and checking on me.
Yeah.
He said,
That's
"Fuck
why
you." He's already gone.
Speaking of which, I totally forgot. We were supposed to let Doc know about this show tonight.
Oh shit, my bad. I'll message him.
But no, I encourage, I know Connor's got friends, and Brian, I encourage you, and I think you should do the same thing for your show. Anybody that you know that you may have served with or anything like that, reach out to them, and see if they want to, if they want to take.
Listen, that military show that you guys do, that we do, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be a 1 hour. It's not going to be a 2 hour. It's going to be until we get it off of our chest.
Yeah.
Ours was 3 hours. Ours was 3 hours, and it was.
Listen. We can do a to be continued. It can roll into your show. If you guys don't have a date yet, we could do a, Memorial Day show. Right? What are we doing? May something, right?
We haven't picked the date yet.
Around Memorial Day, and then to be continued on.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can actually
nonsensical.
Yeah,
do you want to try to do something like that? That'd be pretty dope, right?
Yeah, we could.
We've never done that before.
You guys do the initial show, and then it rolls right on over into Men Caring for Men. And if you guys want me to be there, I'll be there. And Mark, you're more than welcome to be on the show as well. And we just, again, we said we wanted to work together and do this, and obviously,
I'll be your co-host that night.
Yeah,
yeah. You and Glick are You and Glick are host and co-host. So
even though I told you on our show you weren't going to be the
not allowed to be
but I mean, we can still add more.
Yeah, because I mean, there's questions that I have, and there's things that I would like to talk to vets about personally. I'm about to get kicked off Instagram, so I'll re-up Instagram as soon as this ends. I started. I'm going to put the show on Instagram while we're live as well. Just to get some more exposure on Instagram. But because there's questions, me being a civilian, that I would like to ask. And there's things that I'm curious to know about. And, I've had some conversations with my vet friends, but not in an environment where they're there to open up or anything like that. You know what I mean?
I normally don't ask Brian much about his military, except, a few things. But during that show, I learned a lot more on certain things that they have to learn how to do before that they get out too.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an interesting.
Yeah, we had to learn how to be civilians again. Like once you become military, you're stuck in an everlasting loop, right, Connor? You understand what I'm saying? It's a replay every single day of your life. Because everything has to happen the same day, every day, every time, the same way.
It is one of the biggest transitions. It is by far the biggest transition that I've ever had to go through in my life. Even, and I could talk about my physicality, blah 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 blah. Like the switch from being type A turned on 24/7. It has to be at this time. It has to be done this way. If it's not, you will get bitched at. And if you don't get bitched at, you're the one doing the bitching. And if you do that in the civilian world, you get looked at sideways. I mean, I got buddies who could be on here for hours about this shit. And we've gone into the civilian world, been managers, been leaders in the civilian world, and it doesn't last long because they have this personality from the military. And it's completely different.
100%. Coming back, I was telling Mark, I was like, dude, we had to learn how to drive cars all over again. They would tell us, I'd be on the ship there. We're pulling into port from being out for 6-7 months at a time. And we come back and they're like, all right, guys, listen, you're not allowed to. It was a military instruction. It was a UCMJ instruction. You cannot drive a car the day you show up to port to take your family home because you're going to fucking kill everybody. Right? Because you don't know how to fucking drive. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We had to learn all that all over again. So it's,
Sorry, I'm flipping Benji off.
That's
yes,
the truth,
I think that we can come up with an idea, a plan, a game plan, and we could probably do a 2-day show with whether it's with the same guys or if we got to mix it up a little bit. But here's the thing. Mark was like, I don't know if we need to get a Coast Guard guy because the last Coast Guard guy we had, who was absolutely fantastic, believe it or not.
And I invited him back too.
Because
already did that.
You know, it was so hard to find that one person. Who do you find that's been in the fucking Coast Guard, dude?
You know,
no one, because who the fuck's the Coast Guard?
Actually, a very good friend of mine, Cam. You got Connor, you know Cam. Cam does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I met Cam when he was like 13, 14 or whatever. Him and his older brother, we met playing Call of Duty. We have a friends group. There's 5 of us, and we're still friends to this day. We have group chats and everything. But and Cam's done a lot of stuff behind the scenes for the shows and whatnot, and helped promote the show and everything like that. He's like a little brother to me. His dad was in the Coast Guard, retired, did 20 plus years in the Coast Guard, and retired. And I could probably reach out to him. I call his dad Nickelback.
we were trying to get retired military, older military.
But I could probably reach out to Cam and see if his dad would be interested in doing it. I mean, I know his dad. His dad's actually a really good guy. But I'd be curious to know if he'd be interested in doing that. I'll reach out to Cam and ask him. So then we would have a guard guy.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah. But absolutely, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea for us to do a 2-parter, and you know,
because that show, I'm telling you right now, we start the show now, and it's gonna fucking go for a couple of days. It's just, I mean, it gives us an opportunity as military and prior military to get shit off of our chest.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly, and that's what I want to do, and I mean, that's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of this show. At the end of the day, is to talk about things and get things off of our chest, and talk about the issues that you know that led us down the paths that we've been down. Speaking of which, right before we went to break, I know we were talking to Mark, and Mark, if it's okay, I'm gonna show this picture, and if you want to elaborate and kind of go down that road, if you're ready, so. Now, Connor, you might be seeing this for the first time. Jarvis might be seeing. I don't know.
Seen it. Nope, Steven's seen it.
Okay, I seen it. Not much at all of a backstory on it at all. Just again, you know, the conversations that Mark and I had, we literally just dipped our toesies in the water to see how it felt. So I'm curious to kind of learn more and hear more about this, but. This picture, from my understanding, this picture changed Mark's life a lot.
It changed my life. It changed my wife's life. It changed not really did much for my daughter Chloe, because you know, it didn't. She was only almost 6 months old when it happened. Before you show the picture, I'm going to tell you a little bit beforehand. It was June 15th. It was around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I got a call, said that my wife was in a car accident. I'm like, okay, and they said she's fine, and that was all that they said, because I was at work. I worked for Advanced Auto Parts at the time, and right after that, about 5 minutes later, my neighbor came in and said Karen was in a bad accident, that her car was totaled, and they're landing the helicopter. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I threw the keys to one of my team members, and I said, here's my code, go, you know, for refunds. I mean, they could have ripped me off, but, you know, they didn't. that was the best part, you know, working with people that were close, like family at the time. Anyways, I got there, and I was looking around. The first thing I heard was Chloe crying. They wouldn't let me near her to try to calm her down, because they had to hold her down, because they didn't know if something was wrong. My wife was already out of the car, and they were getting ready to take her in the helicopter to St. Joseph's Hospital in Tampa. Go ahead and show the picture. Now, that is she was going across 19 to go pay the phone bill at the time, and somebody waved her across, and a van hit her. And from there, it was weird. Bitch, it's still doing it. It might be mine. I don't know. But anyways, um, after that, I had one of my friends, John, go get my mom from work because she was at work. I couldn't get a hold of her or anybody else. And then I called my mother-in-law, and she was there. And my mom took me down to St. Joseph's. Um, the shit of it all is that day, if we had not turned Chloe around to where she was able to see us instead of facing the back seat, like they tell you until they're like a year old or whatever, to whatever. Chloe would not be here today. But since we turned her around, she only had a little spot on her forehead. That was it. My wife broke her arm in 2 places. She had to have a plate put in it. Of course, a concussion, a bunch of cuts. Her hip was fractured, but not enough to, they didn't do anything with it. After that, it was she was in the hospital for about a week, and we brought her home, and little things led to another, and that's when I started drinking more. Now, it was not my wife's fault, or she took blame for it. She should never have listened to the other person, she said, but she thought that, they were doing something nice for her. And then having the stress of being an assistant manager at a auto parts chain, I started drinking more. My wife calls this my midlife crisis. I'm not allowed to have another one. So I kept drinking. I'd go out, do this, do that, and then I kept going. After a year, which I don't know if Brian knows this part, after a year after the accident, me and Karen separated for a few months. It didn't last long because about when 9/11 came about, I decided that I wanted my family back. And when we went to my brother's graduation at Paris Island, I took my wife with me and my daughter, and well, let's say that my second child was made there. And after that, I kept drinking. I kept, and then I had, sometimes I call him my bad influence, moved back to Florida. And I started drinking more and more with him. And after a while, you're like, okay, bars get boring. I can't hear you, Brian.
I just was saying it's not me. It was not me. Okay, there we go. Continue your story.
So when I'd keep drinking, and after a while, I started telling my wife during some of these times that it was her fault, the car accident, and blaming her, being a dick about it all. And alcohol is not my friend. My wife says that it wasn't the alcohol, it was more of, I was fine as long as I didn't have more than 3 beers. Once I hit the 4th, 5th, 6th, 12th, 18th, it was different. I started becoming somebody she didn't even know. It was around the time that my son was born. I had stopped drinking for about a year because somebody had spiked my drink at the bar. And I went a year without drinking, and then I started drinking again. And well, one thing led to another. Let's say that a cop pulled me over, could have arrested me for a DUI. About almost the same amount of time. I think it was June 19th or something like that. I can't remember the exact date. I know it's in June. It was 5 months after my hip surgery, still not being able to move my leg the way I wanted to. I'm going up over a hill, coming down a hill, and going about 40 miles an hour. That's 10 over the speed limit. Cop pops me as my friend is puking out the back of my truck. Because I went to go get him from the bar because he had too much to drink. Okay, I'll bring him home. The cop pulls me over, tells me, okay, have you had something to drink? I said, yeah. How much? I said, I couldn't really tell you. It's more than 2. He goes, okay, get out of the vehicle. He gave me an ultimatum that day. He says, I could run your ass in, or you could do 2 things for me. 1, call somebody to have them come get you right now. They have 5 minutes. I said, can you make it 7? He goes, okay. So I called my sister, said, this is what's going on. Come get me. She owed me a favor. So it's a, no questions asked type thing. The second one is we just bought a case of beer. I had to open up all the beer and pour them out. And the cop let me go. The next day, I woke up. I said, never again. I'm not drinking. 16 years later, well, it'll be 16 in June. I have not touched any alcohol. Doesn't mean much about that when you have when you go from beer to oxys and then oxys to morphine. The morphine didn't knock me out. Brian got to see the oxys, what they did to me. Brian told me, look, basically, I don't really want to be around, if you're going to go down this road. He talked me into, showing me how to get off certain drugs. It was only oxys that I was on. Prescribed at that. And then after that, it was like, okay, I went to the morphine, and now I'm been off the morphine for it's almost 7 months now. But on me saying the alcohol alone made me be somebody I wasn't. I had my kids, would cry when I'd leave the house to go to the bar, and I didn't care at the time. And my daughters know all about this, how I was. I'd get mad for no reason. I have an attitude, but I don't miss it. I miss some of the friends that I was around at the time because they were fun, but it's not worth it anymore.
Was the prescription pain meds, was that part of dealing with the alcohol? Was that like you decided, you had that ultimatum by that police officer and you kicked the alcohol, and then
No, I still had the painkillers before then because I had just I had my hip replaced at the age of 30, and they pinched a nerve in the back of my knee, so I was always in pain and my foot would drop. So I had to learn to drive with my left foot at that, which is a pain in the ass.
So I'd go over to Mark's house, and Mark would be like, "Oh, I got to take my pain meds. I'm not feeling good." I'm like, "That's cool. Go ahead." He'd take the pain meds, and we'll talk, and we're having a great time. And then here's Mark.
I went to his house, and we were watching a movie, and my wife's hit me every so often.
Yeah.
Wake up. Yeah. And Brian was like, okay. And then
I said, Mark, is there a way that you can come off of the pain meds? Like, is there any way? Because it sucks because I want to hang out with you, but when we're hanging out, like you're asleep, and I don't want you to be asleep. I don't want you to miss out on stuff. And he was like, I don't know. He was like, I don't know. And I was like, all right, well, let's do a little bit of research. And we, I think my wife even said, hey, listen, we got to smoke some weed. That'll help your body too.
At that time, I was, I was still a little bit against weed and all. Yeah. I didn't want to really smoke it. I was trying to find different alternatives, but my insurance also told me, hey, look, you dumbass, pretty much. We're not going to let them give you oxys anymore. So you got the choice. Either go on methadone or morphine. Okay. So I talked to my pain management doctor, and he says morphine would probably be better for you. I said, okay. So we went with morphine. 10 years later, I decided myself. Nobody else decided for me. I was done.
So was the painkillers? I'm assuming. I'm just trying to clarify. Was that a full blown addiction for you that with the prescription drugs or the painkillers, or
with
was
the
it
oxys? With the
yeah, with
oxys? Yeah. Well, I liked. Come on, it was oxys. They were great. So it wasn't a complete addiction because
Can confirm.
it's yeah. It's fun with them, but when your friends don't want to be around you because you're falling asleep, you're doing this. Yeah, it was time.
Yeah, just I want to have a conversation with you, and it's really hard to have a conversation. It's really hard to,
We had a conversation at Brian's oldest daughter graduation. He was like, "Dude, you haven't fell asleep yet." I said, "Dude, I'm not on oxys anymore," and he was like, "Holy shit!"
I mean, you were simultaneously, you were fighting two demons at once with the alcohol and with the oxys, and that was the cool thing, and big ups to Brian, and big ups to your guys' friendship. That's a goddamn friend right there. I mean, this man he seen you were going through it, and he was right there by your side.
He stood by me no matter how stupid mistakes I've made. He's always stood by me. It hasn't always been wanted to be around me because of that fact. But when I told him I was done with the oxys, he was like, "Wow," And then when I told him the day I stopped with the morphine, he said, "Holy shit!"
Nice.
He was like,
the big thing is checking in on my friend and making sure, hey, are you okay?
Yeah,
is everything good? And Mark could tell you, like, I get some pain. I get some pain here and there. And I told him, I said, dude, do you need some gummies? Because my wife will happily give you some gummies if you need them.
I definitely need some gummies, but I mean that's a different story.
So I was going to ask.
I will tell you this. And my pain management doctor also told me this too. Sometimes pain drugs, pain medicine will intensify the pain. And so when you come off of it, your pain's going to be really high, but then it teeters off and then you start to feel less pain. And that's exactly what happened. I still have pain in my legs, my shoulders, my back, but
I get that all the time, bro, but I'm not not there.
But you don't have the disability that I have with my joints.
No, listen, I'm not trying to compare me to you. I'm just saying I kind of feel it because I can sit down for a little bit. I go to stand up and I can't fucking move. My back, because of the way my back is, it causes me to have problems in my legs. So, in the morning time when I get up, I walk like I'm 97 years old. And my wife, when this first happened, she laughed at me. And now she's like, "Babe, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I just got to stand here for a second. I got to get the circulation in my feet and stuff." Like everything has to come together.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's one of the, I've made it very clear. I'm terrified of prescription drugs. The most I take is Tylenol, aspirin. I'm terrified. My mom was a pillhead. That was my mom's drug of one of my mom's drug of choice, because she had a doctor that she could go and say, she could walk into a doctor's office and say, "I cut my leg off and I need this, this, and this," and the doctor would prescribe her. And I watched what it did to her. And I'm terrified of prescription drugs. Even like, I don't want to be on antidepressants. I don't want to be on anti-anxiety. And I know they're not narcotics or anything like that, but I am terrified because I watched what it did to my mom. I've watched what it did to my cousin, and both of which who are no longer with us. And I've watched what it do to other people. So that terrifies me. And that's one of those signs of withdrawal, or one of those things that keep you coming back for more is, and Connor might be able to attest to this, like you said, when you stopped initially, that pain was intensified. So when you would start to come off that quote unquote high. We'll just call it that. That pain was like kicking your teeth in.
Actually, in this case, no, because my pain management doctor took me off him the right way. He didn't just say, "Okay, we're done with him." You know,
Well, you had a good doctor. It sounds like.
Yes, I had a great doctor. I like him. If I had to go back to a pain management doctor, it would always be him.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing is when it came to the alcohol part of it all, my wife's seen what my dad's death did to me the most, because I was 13 years old when he killed himself.
Wow.
And he was coming off of, he had DTs, withdrawals from the drugs and alcohol. So, I thought that, drinking wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's on both sides of my family, I guess, that, alcoholism is, but, but my wife's seen it big time on, but my kids didn't, I'm thankful that they weren't old enough to understand it all on how it was. So, but they've seen a lot in my family, with meth, and not with me. I've never tried that shit. Never will. I've never tried any harder drugs than that. But with the alcohol, it was just the point that I always dwelled on the accident or my father's death. Those are the only big two. And after that, it was like, okay, it was time to figure out something else. Once I figured out that part, the last time I celebrated my dad's death anniversary was when it was 30 years. And that was the last time. I won't celebrate any more anniversaries about it. I don't bring it up in conversation barely anymore. Except like earlier, Stephen, when we were talking. I don't want that, because the day my dad died, 9 years later, my daughter Chloe was born the exact same day. It wasn't a coincidence. It was, I told them that was the day that was going to happen, because she was already 2 weeks late as it was.
Yeah.
So they were going to force her out as it was. So I had the choice of the 25th or 26th. I chose the 26th. And, a lot of things had led up to more than just that for me drinking, but those are the two major things that I always dwelled on.
And I think a lot of people get it twisted. And again, I'm no expert. I'm just speaking my opinion and what I've gone through and what I've lived. I think what people don't understand is when you're dealing with an addiction, and I went through it. It's not so much that you're weak or anything like that. It's just you're looking for something to numb the pain.
When I heard that song by Dex, Dare Alcohol, I was like, dude, that hit the spot right there. Yeah, I've not heard a song that hit the spot like that in a long time.
That hit me like a sack of bricks.
But when I heard that one, I was like, oh hell yeah. And then when I heard the remix of it, dude, that was even more.
Yeah.
A lot of
I told you about, they did the 10-minute version of that.
And that I went and looked at after that. It's just, it's always, yes, it's about numbing that pain, but for some reason I always brought it up then. Like I don't, we don't normally talk about the car accident, except, I can joke about it now with my wife. And for everybody to know, my wife is still with me. We've been together for
30 years.
April.
Say
No,
fucking
not
30,
yet.
because that's your number,
yet.
bro.
Not yet. It's
coming, bro. It's coming.
It's 26 years. We've been together. 24 married.
Well, congratulations to that. That's awesome. Brian,
Jesus, how old are you?
I'm 46.
Fuck you. We are not 46. We are 42.
I mean, we're
42.
We're
back
only
up some.
36. We're only
36. Yeah, let's go.
I'm only 22, so I mean, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
What the fuck?
Fuck you, Connor. I'm going to take your controls away from you.
Me and Mark have been married almost about the same amount of time. You've been with Karen as long as I've been married to Stacy.
Right.
Nice.
You guys
Yeah.
got married. You guys got together.
I got married to Stacy a week after I met her.
See, I told you.
Knock her up.
I'm kidding. It was I think we dated for 7-8 months, and then I was like, God, girl, like for some reason I just want you to marry me. And she was like, okay. I was like,
Okay.
you fucking kidding? And she was like, no, I'm in. And then I was like, prenup, and then she was like, yeah, whatever. So then I knew. That's when you know. Like,
prenup. I got $3 in my checking
I don't
account.
have it exactly. I don't own anything, but you sign this prenup, you can have none of it. So,
No, exactly. No, I mean,
but she was fine with that. She was like, "I'll do whatever you want." She was like, "That's fine. If you want me to sign a prenup, I'm good."
That's why I married my wife.
No,
I'll do whatever you want.
It's weird for me to say because you know, Mark, you haven't you walked away from the pills and you walked away from the alcohol. You don't drink no more. You're not taking it. Have you ever tried weed medicinally or gummies or anything like that?
Yeah, gummies. I'd rather do the gummies because I don't like to smoke.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not a weed guy. I can tell you guys, and this is 100% honest to God truth. I've smoked weed twice in my life. When I was 16 years old, I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. It just made me sleepy. And I've done gummies twice in my life, and that was in the last year. The first time was cool, you know. The second time, Nikki found me naked, dead in the bathroom. I was in the shower, and I thought I was dying. And then like I came out.
Yeah, I think that was laced with something.
I'd been in the shower dead for like 2 hours, and then I come out here and I laid on the bed, and then like a half hour later, it was like, I feel great, and I'm hungry. And I was just eating everything. But
yeah,
so it's not necessarily for me, and I've never been a big like I've never been a big person like, I don't care for weed. I don't care for it. I don't care for, a lot of people.
I'm a little schoolgirl when it comes to weed. Like any weed, I laugh my ass off.
Yeah, I used to have a mindset that I never liked people who smoked for recreationally. However, I've always been a big proponent of it medicinally. I've seen what it does for cancer patients. I've seen what it does for people with Parkinson. I've seen what it does for pain relief and pain management. Yep. And the great thing about it is it's all natural. There's not 47 different chemicals in there that could potentially kill you. There's not addicting agents in it that are going to make you become addicted to it. And it's medicinally, I believe that it should be legalized across the country medicinally. And I felt that way for years. Recreationally, I mean, if you want to smoke and you can still be a functioning part of society, great. If you're like my idiot brother-in-law who just smokes weed and drinks Coke and plays World of Warcraft 24/7 while my sister takes care of the entire family, go fuck yourself. But, and I say it's funny for me talking about, fighting an addiction and overcoming an addiction and battling those demons, because I was a raging alcoholic for many years. I would get up in the morning and my breakfast was Jack Daniels and Budweiser. And I always had and I never drove. Like, this was the thing for me. I never drove. So when I was working construction,
I'm guilty. I'm sorry.
Yeah. One of my guys would pick me up, and now I didn't operate. I was a heavy equipment operator. But I was a functioning alcoholic. I had a cooler full of beer and a bottle of Jack Daniels in my equipment with me. And then I would get home from work and I would drink myself to sleep. And I did this for like 4 years. And it was accumulation of, like, I wanted to go in the military and that was taken away from me. Thought I was going to go to college and play ball. That was taken away from me. I wanted to become a police officer. That was taken away from me. I was dating a girl in high school, and then that was taken away from me. And then my grandfather passed away, and my dad was never really like a great father figure. So I always looked up to my grandfathers. And when my grandfather passed away, it was just man, that fucking snowball started rolling down the hill, and I'm 19 years old, and and I'm drinking, and I look back at pictures of me now, and I'm the smallest I've ever been in my life. I'm like 240 pounds. I look sick, like my neck's sunken in, my eye. I just look sick as hell, and I had lost control. I didn't have control, and that's why I said this is where the funny comes in. I still drink today,
but you learn to control it.
I have control. Those demons don't control me anymore like they used to. And I was a fucking, and again, when we talked about the trauma, I mean, that was part of the path that I went down and the road that I went down and the things that I did or the things that happened to me was because those demons had the best of me and I was very self-destructive and I was angry and I had a violent streak 10 miles long. So, and shortly before my daughter was born, my oldest daughter, I just woke up one morning and I said, yeah, I'm done. I'm taking control back. It's time for a change. And then I did. And then when I was in Charleston, towards the end of my marriage, I started to lose control again. And and my oldest daughter, she remembers I was not I promised I would never be like my dad or my grandfathers. Alcoholism runs in my family. And I didn't realize it, but I started becoming them. And the alcohol was starting to get the best of me. And my marriage was gone to shit. And my ex-wife had me so mentally fucking broken that, I mean, I went to work and I came home and I was in a routine. It took every ounce of energy and power I had for me to get up in the morning and go to work and put on a fake face and do my job and then come home. And the last 5 years of our marriage, I slept in the garage. 4 or 5, almost 5. I slept in the garage on a couch. I had my man cave set up down there. I slept in the garage on the couch. I didn't get invited out with friends. That was part of her process of just mentally fucking me. I was so broken and so just robotic that, and then I had become a terrible dad. Fortunately the other two weren't quite old enough to remember, but my oldest one still does. And we still, that's something that we still dance with and struggle with as father and daughter today, because I'm sure she hasn't quite forgiven me. And I haven't forgiven myself for it, but that's one of those things, that's that struggle that, and I've gotten control. And when I came back to Ohio, it's as bad as this sounds, and I don't mean this to sound bad, and I think my ex-wife would say the same thing. I think the best thing for both of us, because I could put the blame all on her if I wanted to, but it was not all her fault. It was both of our faults. We stayed together way longer than we should have for the kids, and it wound up doing more damage than good. But the day that she came to me and told me she was leaving me for somebody else, you want to talk about a weight being lifted off of somebody's chest? And I feel she felt the same way. Not only that, but my eyes were open to the fact that where I was headed back to, where I was at as a person, and losing that control again. And at that moment in time, that first night in that house, all alone, without the kids, I had to sit. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. it was a few days later, because that was the night that I had my third attempt, so to say. And I knew that nobody would find me for a while. A couple days later or whatever, sitting in the house all alone in the quiet, I sat there and had a come to Jesus conversation with myself. And I'm not talking about in my head. I'm talking about out loud, an out loud conversation with myself. And it was at that moment that I was like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. I can't. I'm working myself to death. I'm working 78 hours a week. I'm living in fucking Charleston. I've been here for 10 years and I never really got to truly experience Charleston because I was working so hard. And everybody's seen me on Periscope because I had started streaming at that time, and they seen a version of me, which is like, oh yeah, look at fun-loving, happy-go-lucky Glick, like. And there's a guy who comes in, Mark, who watches the show. I've known him since my Periscope days, and Kevin Hawley and a few other people that are still around. And they never would have thought that I was going through the hell I was going through. But I had that conversation with myself, and it was like from that day forward. And when I came back to Ohio, as much as I hated it, I told myself, A, first and foremost, you're taking a day and you're unplugging. You're getting away from social media. You're not answering texts. You're not answering Snapchats. You're just going to take that day to yourself and reset. And I've done it since I've been home 5 years now. And I've done that every Sunday since. Even if it's getting online and playing video games, you know, like since I've met you guys, like I look forward to seeing you guys pop up on Xbox because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get to play with Mark and Brian. This is gonna be cool. You know, like
We're terrible at that game, dude.
Yeah, but we have fun and we have good conversations, and it's good. And it's good to have that friendship or
You
be able to have that communication, even when you're not talking about shit or making fun of each other. Because I had lost that with.
But that's the thing, man. It's like you don't have to find me on Xbox, bro. I mean, you can text me, you can shoot me a message anytime, and just be like, "Hey, bro, do you have a minute?" Because I'll fucking talk. If I'm busy, I'll tell you, "Hey, listen, I'm busy. Can I like call you right back?" But you know, you are more than welcome to call me. Mark is the same way. Like all you guys, it doesn't matter who you are. If we're friends, if you have to talk to me about something, I'm not going to tell you I'm the easiest guy to fucking talk to because I'm not. Because I'm like a squirrel. I'm like, oh shit, I got to go over here real quick. But
we all are squirrel. Hey, shiny.
And that's
shiny
I mean, we have to depend on one another because there's been times, man, it gets to a point where I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do. Like I don't know. Mm-hmm. So then who do I reach out to? I got a friend of mine, Ashton, that I say, hey man, you starting that business yet? You're gonna start a new business? Because I want to do something different. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. You know? And that's the big thing. Like I'm still waiting. You know?
Exactly. But I mean, I don't know how it is for you guys. You know, unfortunately, for me, I have a hard time reaching out. Not because I'm got that macho man, I'm a man, I'll figure it. But my thing is I've let too many snakes in my yard throughout my life, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So I've been bit too many times.
We had that conversation the other day.
Yeah.
And I get it. I understand.
Yeah, you know,
that's why I told Mark, like, I don't want to open the podcast up to like this big, you know, I don't want to go that big and I don't want to have a bunch of people. And Mark's like, no, we got to have people on. And I get it. Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. But if somebody starts to come behind us and they're like, hey, listen, I think I can do better, or you need to get rid of this person, or you need to do this. And no.
The only change that we ever had with our show is in the beginning, because I would start the intro off, and then I would start talking, and then I stutter too much, so I changed it to where me and Brian talked, and we were like, okay, Brian's going to do it because he's got that salesman part of him, so let's do that.
Just got to have a quick response to everything, and it sucks because I don't have it all the time, and sometimes I get to that point where I'm like, what are we doing today? What's happening now? What are we doing? Who are we talking to? But you get the guest, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is it's your show, right? And I told you I will just help you make it.
Oh, it's always going to be our show.
No, it's your show, and I'm always going to make it the best show for you. That's it.
Oh shit!
Good. Fuck, get us a guest then.
Mark,
no, that's you. You get to get the guest.
Mark, just remember, if I can give you any piece of advice, you run your show like I run my show, and I remind these guys all the time, it's my show, and I do everything.
And when you start that network, you're going to be doing a little bit more there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, dude, my plate is filling up, but you know what?
But I want to learn. I really want to learn.
Brian and I were playing Call of Duty the other day, and we were talking about the shows, and I told him, I said, the great thing about you and Mark is just like Jeff and I and Connor, you know, and I always knew Connor would be a great addition to the show. It was just him getting everything situated and getting everything and timing. Yeah, exactly. You guys complement each other, and where Mark's weak, Brian's strong, and where Brian's weak, Mark's strong. And the same thing on our show. Only difference is Connor and Jeff are just all 100% weak, and I'm all strong, and I carry this. And then
Yeah, that sounds exactly right. Over there, pissing in the center of the bowl.
And then
No.
Jeravici just comes in, does nothing, sits back, and then collects the rewards.
You're my red, white, and blue maple leaf, buddy. You make a great punching bag.
Hey, Connor, I admit, I may be the punching bag, I may be your punching bag, but you know what, buddy? I wouldn't want to be anyone else's.
Steven, you do a good job of coming in here and taking the shit that we give you. We do give you a lot of shit. But...
Well, we all do because we know that Steven can take it. He's not the guy that's gonna fucking run and tell mommy.
You can insert anything into that man's rectum and he'll take it with a smile on his face.
Yes, I will.
Oh Jesus! Look, and then he's like, "Yes, I will." No, you won't. Don't do that. No.
Exactly.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day,
that is so damn true.
You have to have that. You have to have that. Agreed, Michael.
So damn true.
Broadcasting is an endless, and I continue to learn every day. I'll listen back to shows and go, "Ooh, I should do that differently." I'm my own worst enemy. I'm my own worst critic. And
I listen. I try the same thing. Mark tells me I don't watch the show. I'm like, nope. Why do you not watch our show? Go back and watch our show, Mark.
Because he did the show.
Yeah.
Because I watch it live. So
go back and watch it.
No, I don't watch it anymore because I will fucking tear myself down. Meanwhile, the whole time I'm like, oh man, Connor got that zinger in there, and it kind of went and like while I'm tearing myself apart and critiquing the hell out of myself. In my head, while I'm listening to the playback, I'm praising the hell out of like Connor and Jeff, or when Steven's on there or whatever. Like these guys are, but then it's like I'm the fucking host and I'm dropping the. Well, that's just how I had to stop listening because I was beating myself up too much. And it was like, you know what? And since I've stopped, I feel like, and I've had a couple people comment and not knowing, and this is why they're like, Glick, we don't know what happened or what changed. But you seem like a much better host now than you were 6 months ago.
You're always going to learn. You're going to change with everything else. Because if you look at our very first episode and we went forward from there, and I'd say mid August of last year is when we started actually getting a hell of a lot better. And it was because we didn't, it was just something that clicked with us that, okay, we're going to do this different. We're going to do this different. We did add a few things to it. Every once in a while we'll have the green screen, or I will. Brian uses it mostly all the time now.
Yeah.
We tried doing
green screen. There's nothing here for you to see.
We tried doing pre-recorded ones, and I don't care for pre-recorded ones.
Jeff and I, our first couple episodes are pre-recorded, and it was very hard. It was very hard to do, and we just didn't like it. So we knew right off the rip we wanted to do a live show.
With StreamYard, if you go over an hour, you can't play it. So you have to have it at an hour.
What do you mean an hour?
Yeah. If you do a pre-recorded on StreamYard.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, we weren't on StreamYard at the time.
That was our problem. We could only do it an hour. That's why with Kyle, we told him an hour, or we did a little less than an hour, so we didn't have to worry about condensing it or cutting something out. Excuse me. The first one we ever did was with Batman of Spring Hill. I'd like to have a redo on that one. Mm-hmm. Because I think he deserves better than what we did do.
Oh yeah,
but he chose to be outside in the dark.
And we
it's not just that though. I believe that he has more to it than what we were trying to get out of him.
Yeah, and we all we all have those moments. Those man, I wish like my biggest one. I'll say this a million times.
Shows you don't want to do ever again. You're like,
well,
no, you want to redo. You want to redo.
I want to
because
redo.
You know that show sucked.
Yeah,
it sucked ass.
That's like
Internet,
my Sandy Johnson one.
And I think you should redo it.
I'm trying, bro.
One of the guests that I worked so hard to get, and I was so excited to get, was Matt James, lead singer of Black Top Mojo. It's no fan. It's no secret. I'm a huge fan of the band. I love their music. I think they're one of the most underrated, greatest rock bands of all time. And they're going to blow up one day. But man, I had internet issues. Matt had internet issues. I had Jeff issues.
Jeff issues.
I would love a redo, and thanks to my music show, I might get that redo down the road. Matt and I are already talking, and I understand they're super busy. And we were talking the other day, and I told him, I said, I know you guys are busy. You're on tour. You got the new album coming out. I said, but even if and that's one show that if I have to, I'll pre-record it, because I think it would be a great show to have the guys on, talk about their music, where things are headed, where things are going, play their songs and stuff like that, but actually have a good conversation with Matt, because they're such good guys, and they've not only have they openly acknowledged and appreciated the support that we give them, they also support the show, and they're always, if I shoot them a question or if I ask them something or if whatever, they're always right there, quick to answer. That's one that I would love to do a redo on. But I had to stop listening to the replays because they
eat away at your confidence.
Yeah, being a mental health show and starting a show and not really knowing what you're doing, I'm listening to the replays. It's starting to eat at me, man. It's starting to live in my head rent free. So then when I start to do a show, in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm already, like, all right, I need to, be mindful of this, mindful of that, watch this, don't do this. And it's killing the show. Like Bathurst just said down there in the comments, the key is trusting the flow, when things are flowing freely. And that was one of those, since I stopped listening to the show, man, it's just like, even when there's hiccups, because I used to get mad as hell when there was internet fuck ups, or, I would get so frustrated. And then like the next day I would be like, I should just delete the show, but the internet connection was on my end, or Jeff's end, or Tony's end, or Mike's end, or whatever. But the rest of the show kept going just because one guy had an internet issue. The show kept going. You know what I mean? So, and again, it does. It eats at you, and you start to beat yourself up, and you start to create self-doubt in your head, and you start doubting yourself. And I think that not only having a show like this, but also creating a quote unquote podcast community where we're all there to support each other and help each other and promote each other and be a part of each other's shows when we can be, or whatever, is not only great for the community, because the podcast community is actually surprisingly a really good community at the end of the day.
Yep.
There are the bad apples out there, but the community itself is a really good community. But to have a small circle,
bless you.
And I told Jarvis this the first night we had him, on the show as a guest. That's what I want. I want to create that community where we are all doing the same thing, but we're there to support each other and to help each other grow and advance and move on. And if that means me creating the network that I'm working on right now to single-handedly put people on, because I don't want any, like you guys, you want to do the dare or the hot link or whatever, but I don't want you guys to beat yourself up because you do one and nobody shows up, because we've had nights like that.
Oh hell, we're not worried about that. We could always talk about something on it. We'll figure something out. We never have a. We turn
it into a wrestling show or something like that. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. You want to talk about the single major things that have ever happened. Hey, Mark, you want to tell the guys about the first time we interviewed Peter? What happened?
Between the cat, disconnecting to me, and then the battery on my computer died, and then I didn't record it.
Didn't your phone like fucking disintegrate too, or like it got so hot that it shut off or something?
No, that was my computer.
So then the whole interview we did, and this was our first time meeting Peter. This was for the Poor Boys, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was for our Poor Boys podcast, and Peter's just like, well, I guess we're done. I'm just like, you like wrestling? And so me and him just sat there and bullshitted like it was still going on.
Until I came back in, and then I was like, oh shit, I didn't record this. Peter gave us a second chance. And, ever since then, I've been in touch with Peter Anthony for, out of all this. And, he's a great guy too. But he was very patient with us. And I told him when we started talking shit, I said, dude, I have a new podcast coming out. And it's going to be called Talking Shit. I'd like you to be on it in a few weeks. He was like, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, it all kind of circles in, and it all comes back to why I wanted to create this show. And a lot of people, like we have haters. I don't know if you guys have reached that level yet.
Well, I don't think we're there.
I've had haters my whole life.
Yeah, we've only had haters that I didn't like one of our guests. That's it.
Yeah, we have haters, and I used to get so worked up and aggravated, and it's just like it took a friend of mine. We were talking one day, and he was like, look, first and foremost, I get very defensive of the show, and I get very defensive of the guys on the show. And it's like, click, why are you getting so worked up, man? And I was like, I think a lot of people don't understand this. This is my dream. This is my dream. I have always wanted to be on the radio. I got bit by the bug when I was 16 years old. I had an opportunity once upon a time to actually be on a very successful morning radio show in my area. But because I listened to everybody around me, my family, my now ex-wife, girlfriend at the time, and I was told that it was stupid and it was a dumb idea and that I needed to get a real job and provide for my family. And, mind you, the two gentlemen who hosted the show, they were making six figures a year. Well over six figures a year. And these are two guys that fucking murdered Howard Stern in the ratings. And, Howard Stern's your top dog. And in our area, they absolutely shit on Howard Stern and Bob and Tom. So it's like, you guys have to realize that this has been a dream of mine since I was 16 years old. And for years, and when podcasting started becoming a thing, I was still married, and I told my ex-wife, I said, oh man, I want to start a podcast. Why? That's stupid. That's dumb. It's not going to go anywhere. So it was buried, you know what I mean? And then now we have it, and it's like, I'm 42 years old. And I'm chasing a goddamn dream. As dumb as it sounds.
You lied. You lied to me. You told me you were 22.
I mean 22. 22. I'll edit that out.
You honestly believe that Sasquatch, Tony the Tiger looking motherfucker was 22 years old?
Hey, listen. Better things have come out at 22. I'm just saying.
To answer his question, yes. The more that I'm sitting here, or anytime I'm in an interview, except if there are some that I get tongue-tied talking to. Yes, I get more comfortable as time goes on talking.
Especially when we don't know the guest's last name.
Well, that was one
or
thing.
Their podcast name.
Yeah, that was
easy. Hey, you know what, Mark? I love you, Mark. You know what, Mark? I came on here. Actually, I've done it on here, and I've done it on my music show. I've started the show and gone, welcome to Nonsensical. Oh shit, this is Monday. Welcome to Men Caring for Men. Or welcome to Nonsensical. Nope, it's Friday. Welcome to Glick's House of Music. And it's just like, what the hell is the name of my goddamn show? What day is it?
Now,
Mark asked me to do a commercial for the show, so I did a commercial for the show. I sent Mark all the outtakes. He has all the outtakes. So if that tells you anything, I'm pretty sure we did something like 42 times, and I was like, "This is bad, dude. I can't figure this out."
You and I were just talking about that. See, so when I make a TikTok video or if I do a reel or something like that for a show promotion, I wish you guys could see how hard it really. And I think Brian's saying 42 outtakes, something like that. I delete that shit because it kills me because I'll be like, and I'm sure you went through this. I'm rolling. I got like a awesome 3-minute promo, and then
right at the end,
and then it's just like
frozen.
Every time it was a certain time during the whole commercial type or ad that he had to say, he would be like, "Oh fuck, nope."
Every time I was listening, like, nope, I'm not. But I kept them all. Kept them all, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna keep them because maybe I can edit something here. So if you do it again, if you go to do something, just keep it. Just keep whatever you think is bad. You got to keep whatever's bad. You got to keep that part.
I was trying to find them during our first anniversary show. I was trying to find them, but I couldn't find them.
I have them on my phone.
So
yeah,
Connor,
just a whole long reel thing.
Yeah. Connor up here being quiet. Turn that mic on there, big boy.
I'm here, man. I'm listening. I'm taking this all in. I don't have a show.
Well,
I'm a part of a show.
I'm trying to get you a show.
I think Connor, when he's ready, he'll take the reins of the show and he's gonna do a hell of a job. I said that with Mark. I loved having Mark on our show. I loved being on Poor Boys with him, but honestly, his best creative shit that he's done has been talking shit. Hands down. And like I told a certain someone at a certain network when he was asking me, well, why did you and Mark break up or something? I said, Mark has to do what he's got to do because you know what? Creatively, smartest fucking guy in the room. And not saying that just because he's here. I'm saying that because it's the goddamn truth. I mean,
honestly, it's if you really want to know, most of this stuff is done because I have a salesman as a co-host, and he can sell everything.
Yes, but you also have to admit too, you created 3 shows. Like the Jarvis podcast is because you told me to go out and do it.
Right. But
and you created that show.
That was just putting a whole bunch of shit up your ass and telling you to do it.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God.
Is that what you did to me? You cocksucker?
No, I didn't even have to ask you. You're the one that asked me. You want to do this or not? And yes, I'll admit that
I didn't know anything about a podcast, and I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. And me and my wife talked about it, and I said, hey, so I think I want to do a podcast. And my wife was like, why? And I was like, I don't know. It sounds like fun. It's kind of like DJing for talking to the guest and stuff. And she was like, okay, if you want to do that, that's fine.
And when we first started doing it, we weren't sure if we wanted it to be a type of having guests on, or if we were going to do it a different other way. If we wanted to come up with topics you can come up with, but other ones, interviews are interesting too.
I just came up with a great idea though. I'm gonna get a dictionary out and I'm gonna thumb through the pages, pick a word. We have to use the word on the entire show. Throughout the entire show, we have to use the word.
Yeah,
come on, tell me this is not going to be awesome, bro.
Just don't make it a hard word. Something I can't say.
Make it supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, please. I dare you. I will pay $20 for that, and I probably fucked up that word.
You people's lack of ability to say that word is funny.
Okay,
You know how long ago it's been since I've watched that fucking
that
show?
guy over there. That guy over there. He can't say it. That guy over there. He can't say it.
Hey, Brian.
It's super califlat.
You can say it. Can you? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That one. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. See?
Yes.
The driving force for go ahead, Mark.
No, I want to hear yours. I want to hear your on that part.
Oh, God. And Mark and Brian actually asked me this when I was on their show. The whole driving force behind me doing my podcast was to prove that anyone can do one. At first, if people want to really listen to a shit show, go listen to the first couple episodes I did on my own before I asked Mark to help me, even when my wife was helping me. I mean, it was quality shit. And I'm not saying good. I'm saying, like, if I were to ever have went on a network at that point, I would have gotten fired within a second. But you need that to boost your confidence up to get to where I am today. And I know I'm on Zencaster, where I'm about 7 away from 10,000 listens all time.
Wow.
And that's because the amazing support I got from the community, from my friends, maybe a little bit of, that, maybe.
Why are you doing that to people? You can't do that.
Stop it, Steven.
You got to learn to use these things.
Steven, leave people's personal bubbles alone.
Shut up, Connor. We know why you're on.
Things.
No, I'm kidding.
No means no.
Okay, we're not going to even go there.
Listen. The reason I'm on this show is because I used to shoot quarters out of my ass over at Abercrombie, and Chris and I would see how far I could snipe somebody from across the warehouse.
I wish I could have seen that. But no, I always wanted to get into the radio business in the end, and went to school for it, and now I graduated with that. And now
listen, we all have a face for radio, so there you go.
I don't know about that with me.
Speak for yourself.
Now,
I'm fucking hot.
The reason why I started doing the podcast is because I wanted.
Actually, if you guys give me 1 second, I know you went off on a tangent.
No, someone asked a question.
Yeah,
I know.
Michael asked a question.
Instead of answering the question, it got really weird with quarters and buttholes and stuff like that.
See, this is why he's the host.
Yeah, Connor.
This is why he's the host, and you pointed to nobody.
I'm not gonna play music.
Fine.
Or anything like, I'm not
He's
gonna
the
play music,
host.
like a full blown break or anything like that. But I do want to just take a second just to address the sponsors, if you will, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of podcasting and why you started podcasting, or if you're doing podcasting or anything like that, if you'd like to make your life a little bit easier, maybe grow. If you're obviously our end game is growing. At the end of the day, there's a website out there that their number one goal is to help broadcasters or streamers grow, no matter how big or small you are. We've been using them now for the last several months, and geez Louise, the numbers are insane. I can't believe it. But it's called Zencaster. It's super easy to use, and it literally has everything you need right there on the website. It's an all-in-one location. You don't have to buy a whole bunch of crazy equipment. You're always going to look and sound your best. Head on over to Zencaster.com/pricing. Use our promo code Words Are Hard. You're going to get 30% off your first month's paid plan. Check it out. Give it a try for 30 days. Let us know what you think. Like I said, we've been using it, and I know Steven's using it, and I love it. The numbers don't lie at the end of the day. Anyways, Bathurst asked the question, and I know we're getting there. We're kind of getting a roundabout way, squirrel everywhere in the room. What was the driving force for you doing the podcast? So, and I know Mark was getting ready to say something. So, Mark, if you want to go ahead and continue, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to get.
Brian's got to take off.
I got to run, guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you guys take over from here. You got this?
I'll do my best.
I fucking love you guys. Enjoy
love
it.
You too, bro.
Later.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having me. And I do appreciate you. I'll see you guys very soon.
Absolutely.
Love you, Brian.
Love you, bro. Have a good night.
Later.
All right.
The reason I wanted to do the podcast because I wanted to talk to people that I would never have talked to in my whole life.
Mhm.
You know, I've gotten CJ Graham, I've gotten Tom Matthews, I've gotten Sanaya Lutis, sorry. I've had Lauren Marie Taylor. I've had so many great guests that I would never have thought about. I'd never would have met them or talked to them or got autographs from them. There are still others that I want on the show. I just got to work the timing out.
Yeah.
But that was the main reason why I wanted to do the podcast. Plus, it was to do, you know, with Brian, it was to do something with Brian because we've never done anything like this before. With Steven, it was to help Steven out because I thought he needed somebody that he could bounce stuff off of and it would work out great.
Mhm.
Other than that, there was no other driving force. I just want to keep doing this as long as, you know, Brian wants to.
Yeah.
Because once Brian's done, I'm done.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't want to, you know, talking shit wouldn't be the same, you know, having somebody else take his spot. So it's one of those things. He may say it may be my show, but no, it's our show. And
No,
he
I
can
agree, and I tell the guys all the time. You know, I joke around, you know, about the whole my show, you know, but you know, I make it very clear, and I always try my best to say our show, our show. This is our thing. This is what we are doing. This is something that we're doing together. Jarvis, I know you kind of said it, but what? And I know there was a lot of squirrels going on there, but you know, for you personally, I mean, to ask what Michael asked, what Bathurst asked, is the driving force, and I would like to put that question right back on Bathurst. If you're still in here, I want to put that question right back on you. So go ahead and drop your answer in the comment. I'm gonna hit you with the Uno reverse card there, big boy.
Well, but before I say I got a big announcement. Like I said earlier, I was close to 10,000 plays on the podcast. I am now over 10,000 plays on the
Nice.
podcast. I
Nice.
sent that to you, Glick. I was gonna send it to Mark, and I forgot. But
Nice. Congratulations, brother.
The driving force, as I said, it was not only to deal with my mental health issues and my shyness, but it was also to show anyone that no matter where you're from, your background, whatever, you can do this. I mean, ultimately, that's all it was about. I loved it, you know, content creating, even though I suck at editing my own stuff, like doing radio school was pretty much the driving force of everything I wanted to do as a content creator because at one point I had a YouTube gaming channel. I quit doing that because it's like, well, I'm not getting anywhere. Then I went to Twitch gaming channel, wasn't getting anywhere there. Then I did the podcast. Well, Mark was a part of the podcast. My wife, Alyssa, was a part of the podcast. And I've been doing it on my own ever since then. And then friend of mine who I met at my mom's wedding over this last summer talked me to bring me back into Twitch gaming, which was kind of like the Michael Corleone in part 3. Every time I get out, they pull me back in. It's kind of like this show, you know, every time it's like I'm about ready to tell Glick I'm done being Connor's bitch, and it's like, nope, you're coming back.
We all have a role to play. It's your role.
And, you know, I love it. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people out there that gatekeep a lot of content creators that are very, very good. And there's a lot of people I've seen in our comments try and do it. I don't like it, but you know what? Hey, it's their thing at the end of the day. But you know what? Content creation, podcasting, Twitch gaming, YouTube gaming, it's a big universe. We should all be helping each other. Yeah, there's going to be those people that are going to be like, hey, help me, let me piggyback off you and then stab you in the back. Them are the ones that are going to fail so quickly that no one's going to remember. They're just going to remember that they piggybacked off you and then fell off the fucking earth. And I'll still help those people out. But at the same time, like, I'm where I'm supposed to be.
I agree 100%, and I feel like there's been people who have done that. I'm not putting nonsensical nonsense on a pedestal by no means. You know, we are what we are, but I feel like there's people out there who have.
There's 2 peppers left. Are you going to eat them when you're done with the show?
No.
No.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I'm good.
Is Brian coming back?
No.
No, he left for the night.
He left.
You know, there's been people who have been a part of the show, people who I have supported that, you know, I feel like they jumped on our coattails and was riding our coattails. And, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. But Connor, you're the newest one to the game. And I would like to ask you before I answer the question. Bathurst put the question in the chat, in the chatters box. What is the driving force for you at doing a podcast? You know, what is it that made you wanted to get into the podcast game other than me?
Well, for me to answer the question honestly, love it or not, you are a part of it, Chris. When we were at Abercrombie, I would tell Chris very often, probably every time we worked together, that he needed his own radio show. It was 106.5, The Glick. And,
that sounds like the worst.
I could see
radio
that
station ever.
Yeah, and so because he does, he has the voice for radio, he's got the face for radio, and
I was handsome though.
Click the
he says that
Sasquatch.
everyone's handsome. Anyway, genuinely, it was because I saw you doing it, Chris, and I needed an outlet. And you offered to have me on the show for a night, and I came in for one night.
Damn.
And I had a phenomenal time. And I got to bullshit, and I got to forget about a whole lot of things that I was just trying to not think about. And then we started talking about Monday nights, and we started talking about making it what it is now. And I was like, you know, that could is that me?
I don't know.
Or
No,
is
he's fucking probably talking about me.
It's
No,
me
no,
or
no.
Chris?
No, he's talking about that noise.
But what really sold it for me to come in here and try and figure out a way to make this essentially full time, or as full time as I can be, with 3 kids and and my wife who works and me who doesn't, was that it was the perfect outlet for me to get away. And as I proved to myself last week, I need it. It's been, thank you, Michael. It's been unbelievably therapeutic for me to be able to come here and let loose and be as off the chain, unhinged, ridiculous, stupid, and serious as I want to be when I want to be it. I get to be real. I get to be me. I get to say very off the wall shit, and I also get to talk about some of the things that bug me and that really fuck with me. And that's what this show is to me, and that's why I wanted to be a part of it.
First and foremost, thank you, Connor, for those nice words at the beginning. And he's not wrong, because we used to talk about that, and we'd joke around, and we would cut radio promos at work. we just
the TikToks at work.
Yeah, Connor and I just from the day we met each other, we just thoroughly enjoyed each other's presence.
Which is hilarious, because the first time I saw you, I thought you were a giant prick.
Most people have that impression.
I was like, this dude's a Harley riding douchebag, just fucking doesn't care about anybody. I bet he's had 3 divorces and fucking hates the world, and I don't want to be a part of it. And I was so wrong.
No,
well, kind of wrong. You've had one divorce.
Yeah, we enjoyed being around each other. We enjoyed working together, right? I know I look forward to the days that we got to hang out and work together. And we would joke around and cut those radio promos. And I am not a Steelers fan. I'm a Browns fan, first and foremost. My fiance is a Steelers fan. However, in her defense, yes, she has special needs, but she's from the Pittsburgh area ish. She's from about an hour north.
Hey, hold up. I have to stop you there. Brian, my co-host, is a Steelers fan.
And as we all know, he has special needs as well. We've all met Brian.
Yeah.
We've all met Brian. We all know he has special needs.
He was a Marine, right?
No, he was Navy.
Maybe.
Oh, good.
But,
He was swapping the boot pack.
I got into streaming. Like I said, being on the radio or having a radio show is a dream of mine. As crazy as it sounds, as silly as it sounds, maybe it might sound dumb to others, but that's a dream of mine. I got into streaming. I started on Periscope when the day Periscope dropped. I was on there. For me, not only is it an outlet, not only is it a way for me to be me and express my feelings and have a good time and meet new and interesting people at the same time. There's a big part of me that I want to be an influence to people. I want people to, understand that no matter what it is that you want to do. I'm 42 years old. I got 3 kids. I'm divorced and I have my kids full time. No matter what life, and I've been through hell and back, man. I'm not a veteran. I can't say that I've seen and done the things that our veterans have done, but I've walked through hell and back on multiple occasions. I've walked through hell and back. And after the first time, now I walk through there with a big stupid grin on my face and I watch the devil tremble, but I wanted to, I've always had a big personality. The people that knew me when I was growing up and knew me in high school, they're like, Glick, you could walk into a room of 20,000 people and within 5 minutes, everybody would be watching you. Everybody's eyes would be on you. Their ears would be on you. And you didn't even mean to do it. So for me, this is just natural. This is natural. This is my natural habitat. This is my environment. This is where I thrive. Doing the podcast and doing the podcast.
Glick, put that comment up. That one. And yes, there you go. Everybody will know who you are.
Sweet tattoos, all right. I like showing them off.
I'm telling you, the motherfucker needs a Harley. It's the only thing he's missing in his life right now.
Hey, listen here. Okay, first and foremost, I'll never own a Harley. Second of all, I do want a motorcycle, but it'll be an Indian. Third of all,
I was about to say it's going to be an Indian.
Third of all, Brendan, how's those ladies in the cages in your boiler room? Don't think we don't know. Don't think we don't remember there, Freddy Krueger.
And we have our I believe it's shit. Oh yeah, he's I'm trying to remember which service. The Coast Guard, I believe. That's our Coast Guard right there.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about that for the show.
Well, I mean, I'll still reach because Cam's dad's a lot older, so I'll still reach out for our.
Oh no, it's good. It's good because it's different versions of each one. I would like to have somebody younger and then older because then you can see what's the difference between the military from then and there.
They put the lotion on it. Brendan, by the way, the vet show will be a 2-part show. Part 1 on talking shit and part 2 on men caring for men. So you're gonna have to pull double duty. But no, I think for me, not only
I hadn't told him that part yet.
Not only the fact that I love doing this. This is it. I have such a huge passion for this. I really do. I love what I'm doing. But also it gives me a way. It's also a way for me to give back and to reach out and to meet people. I've known Connor, but Connor, to give him the ability to eventually, eventually I want Connor to take over this show and be the host of this show, and I'll be the co-host. But to give him that, but also to be able to support other people around me like Jarvis and help Jarvis get that confidence and build that confidence and help him grow and support him and whatnot. And then the same thing with you guys, with Mark and Brian over at Talking Shit. it allows me to, because like Connor said, his first impression of me, just looking at me, was, God, he's a prick, and da, da, da. I'm actually a very caring guy, and the people that I bring into my circle, I'm very protective of, and I will promote and I will push you guys to be better than me in any way possible. Like, at the end of the day, if I push you guys ahead of me, that's my goal, and that's another reason that I got into the streaming and the broadcasting.
Not hard to do.
And then the podcasting, because I mean what I say when I am a cuddler. Actually, I'm a big old cuddler.
See, Lick, when I first invited you guys onto the show, I was like, okay, I didn't know who you guys were. I didn't see any of your material. Steven was the one that pushed for it, to say, hey, look, you need to, because I know that it would be worth them being on your show.
Agree.
And I
Well
believe
said, Mike.
it. And then when you said yes, and then we had to change the date, I won't tell you who you were bumped by, but
I don't care.
exactly. That's what you
said. At least it wasn't a.
It was Oprah.
At least it wasn't a fucking puppet.
No, we didn't have one that week. Brian's wife had to go over to Daytona to get her something medical done, and
Damn.
I was like, okay, we'll do it. And you were easy going like that. You said, no problem. I'm flexible. I'm like, shit. So then Steven was telling me more about you guys, and I'm like, okay, it's more interesting. And I still never watched your stuff until you guys came on the show. The day that you came on the show, that's when I watched something of yours. I can't remember what it was. But we never even talked about that video or anything that it was like, okay, we're going to talk about, and it went the way we wanted to, because we didn't have to ask questions. We were just talking.
Yeah.
And that made it a hell of a lot easier. And when you have questions for your guest, it's like, no. That's how me and Brian first started out. We asked question after question after question. We wanted them to start. We'd ask a question and let them go through it all, and then, go off of what they said. Instead of writing this shit down all the time, we would do this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. And then when you were talking to us a couple weeks back about the network, I was like, we got shit on by one network. We weren't sure, but I mean, we're more than willing to talk more about it with you than we would anybody else.
And I'm gonna put this out there right now. It don't matter how nonsensical nonsense. Like, we could reach Joe Rogan's status, and I don't care how. And this is how I feel right now, and this is never going to change. I don't care how big or small a podcast is, or a TikToker, or a Instagrammer, or Facebook, or whatever you do, for you to invite me on the show, first and foremost, for somebody to invite me on their show is like, or invite us on the show. And I say me because 9 times out of 10, Jeff says
my show,
he's not going to be able to make it. And I'll mention it to Connor, and Connor's like, I'll try. Where, if the show is, I'm going to represent the show. At the end of the day, I'm going to represent the show. If the guys can be there, obviously I want the guys there more than anything. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's a huge honor and it's a privilege, because it's kind of cool that other people are like, wow, we would like to have you on our show. But also at the same time, my mindset instantly goes to, I get to promote them. I get to share them. I get to introduce them to our audience or other people who may not know about them. It's not like, oh, I'm so important that they want to interview me. No, my first initial thought is, I can support these guys. I can share these guys out to an audience that may not know about them. So I'm always super eager to do it.
And I was always been one to, I'd sit there and think, going on somebody else's show, even if me and Brian made it big and whatnot, I would still go on somebody else's show and talk and not charge them, because there's a lot of people out there that all they're in for is the money. And well, a little do they know, they have to, do a lot of, pouring themselves out just to get that money.
Yeah.
Some people are lucky, they get that following right away. We're still waiting to hit that 1,000 followers on Facebook, because as soon as we hit that, we're going to do a giveaway, and we're waiting for that. But we're stuck at 719.
Yeah.
So we got a little ways to go before we hit that 1,000. But when we do, it's going to be an interesting giveaway.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like for me, we obviously everybody wants to grow. My thing is we're going to grow at our own pace, but I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to go out and I'm not going to buy followers. I'm not going to be fake. You can say a lot of things about me. One thing that nobody can ever say about me or about our show, about the guys on our show, is that we're fake. I'm not going to be fake. And it kind of sort of pertains to it. One of the Robin Williams quotes that always really resonated for me and always hit really hard for me and hits very close to home is when he said, I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy because they know what it's like to feel absolutely worthless. And they don't want anyone else to ever feel like that. I may have misquoted that. Hopefully I didn't, but that's one of my favorite quotes by Robin Williams. And it doesn't necessarily pertain to why I enjoy meeting other podcast hosts or other shows or other broadcasters, but it's kind of along those same lines because I know what it's like to go through the struggle and climb this mountain. I'm climbing this mountain. And if I can make your journey a little bit easier, then I'm going to do it. And that's why I said, if I can push somebody to be more successful than me, and I think that's where a lot of people get this misconception about me. I'm very passionate. And with passion comes maybe being a little aggressive, maybe being a little crazy at times. But at the end of the day, and we've had former members of this show that just did not understand. I will do everything under the sun to push you and get you ahead of me in the game because I don't want you to go through the struggles that I'm going through with this podcast thing. And it's not that it's not that I'm mad or I'm jealous or anything like that. I'm just taking my own journey, like at the end of the day. But if along my journey, I can come across people like Jarvis or you and Brian and elevate you guys, I'm all about it. That's why I said, I don't care how big or small a content creator is. It's an honor for them to say, hey, we'd love to, we like what you guys do. Would it be cool? Would you guys be willing to come on and hang out with us? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, that means I get to share you guys to our audience. I get to talk about you guys and promote you guys to our audience at the end of the day. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons that I'm doing what I do and doing the show. And especially this Men Caring for Men, this men's mental health thing, I fell into a rabbit hole and I got pissed because you see these people that have millions of followers and millions upon millions of dollars, revenue coming in, and they're just fucking scumbags. And the moment they get into a little bit of trouble, they want to go, well, I have depression and I have anxiety and I have blah, 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 and I have this and I have that, and I have an addiction to alcohol and I have an addiction to this. And it's like, no, you don't. Now you're just saying the things that people want to hear you say so that your followers come back.
Or they'll say that they had a bad childhood. And 90% of them I can't say 90, but probably about 75% of them don't even know what it's like to have a bad childhood.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I go ahead, Jarvis.
I gotta say one thing, and it may boost Glick's ego, it may boost Connor's ego. I am very humbled
100%
that when these guys, and it was Glick and Connor and Brian that did this show. Now, they didn't need another co-host or whatever I am a part of this show, I usually just sit in the back anyway, and then Connor, when he gets a funny joke or something, he's like, wonder if this will work on Jaravishi or Jarvis. And you know, I have to tell people this. I did have a lot of trouble agreeing to it at first. I mean, Glick, when he first asked me, he's like, you don't have to give me an answer right now, just come watch it. And I didn't know what Men Caring for Men was. I was just told it was a mental health show and that they opened up. And I was just like, I consulted my wife. I talked with Mark about it a little bit. I didn't tell Mark what the show was. I just said, hey, you know, there's this new show out there, and they kind of asked if I would want to be on it. And I told Mark, I said, but if I turn it down, you know, if you want, I could kind of hype you guys up, you know, because I always want to give other people opportunities more than I want to give myself. And I just finally told Glick, I said, okay, only under one condition. I said, if I'm never able to open up on the show, you have to get rid of me. Because I said it would be a disservice to Glick, to Connor, to guests, to Brian, to whoever comes on the show. I said, if they're going to be real, I have to be real with them. Because at the end of the day, not only is this called Men Caring for Men, but it's a show about 4 people that are talking about stuff that is happening in their lives or has happened in their past, being honest about it. And we come out and we say we're not experts, but we want to show and break down the stigma of mental health.
Actually, I told Jaravishi there was one condition of him being on the show, and that was he had to continue to do the cup, the cradle, and tickle.
Oh, I figured it would be calling you the champ. Steven, I will cite our last episode of Men Caring for Men. You have opened up on this show, but even so, I don't think that Chris and I, or I'm sorry, that Glick and I could possibly kick you off of this show.
No.
Because you do a really good job of what I think this show is really meant for. And that is not necessarily opening up and having the worst childhood and having a pissing contest about that. But you do a really good job of adding what we're thinking, what men are thinking. And it's all the show is really supposed to be about. That's why it's Men Caring for Men. Not that women aren't great. It's guys talking to guys about fucking guy shit.
Well, it's and we had this conversation, and I've said it a million times, and I'll say it every time on this show.
Amen to you, brother.
It's there's a stigma on men's mental health for a reason. Men don't feel comfortable talking and opening up and showing vulnerability for a reason, because we were taught our entire lives that we're not allowed to. And I've made the comment, and I know that it irks a lot of people when I say this, but you're gonna have to fucking deal with it, and you're gonna have to understand I'm onto something here. All right, I'm taking back the phrase "man up." Man up has a negative context to it. Google that shit. Look at the definition. The definition of manning up is to be courageous, be brave, do things that other people won't do. So when I say that we are manning up, because we are doing the things that nobody else is willing to do, and we're not doing it for likes, we're not doing it for clicks, we're not doing it for follows. Yeah, we want people to watch the show. Yeah, we want people to follow the show. But at the end of the day, this is about healing. This is the journey to healing is a long journey at the end of the day. And it's not easy. And it's really not easy when you feel like you're doing it alone at the end of the day. Regardless of if you know, God bless your wife, Connor, and Mark, and Steven, and my fiance. We got very strong women in our lives, and they're there. And they want to support us, but that in our minds, we will only go so far with them. We will only open up so much with them, because we don't want them to carry the burden or carry the cross that we are carrying. So when you put a group of guys together who are willing to have the conversations, have the tough conversations, and go to areas that people aren't, and not do it just to get likes on social media, but to do it for real, because not only are we healing, Jarvis is healing, Connor's healing, Mark's still healing from his. Lord knows I'm going through it. I'm going through it every day. I'm still healing. I still battle my demons. I still battle the darkness. I still have moments of weakness, but we're taking that journey on head on, and we're doing it together, and we're supporting each other. And I've only known Mark for a very short period of time. I've only known Jarvis for a short period of time. I mean, in all honesty, I've only known Connor for a couple of years. What, 3-4 years, something like that?
Yeah, something like 2, 3, 4 years, something like that. Yeah. Hell, like Abercrombie feels like it was forever ago.
But at the end of the day, the fact that we are willing to do this show and we are willing to have the conversation, and like tonight was huge for Mark, because like Mark said, he's never showed anybody that picture.
No, I've only showed a select few, and until the other day, I didn't show. Brian never seen it.
We put that picture up on the show, and he shared his story. And Mark, I don't know how many people you shared that story with or anything like that. But you shared
about a handful. A handful.
You opened up to the internet world. At the end of the day, we might get 5 listens. We might get 1 million listens. But you opened up, and that's what this show is about. The show is about men caring for men. Like, goddamn, like it's high time that we do what we can and be real, and do our part to get rid of that stigma, and to erase that stigma and erase the negativity between man and up. Because at the end of the day, and any man that comes on this show is manning up. You're being brave, you're being courageous, and you're willing to do something that nobody else is willing to do. And I mentioned these big content creators that do this shit, and they're part of the problem. They're part of the reason why there is a stigma to men's mental health. Why men's mental health is a fucking joke. Because they don't say nothing about it until they get in trouble.
Holy shit, you're a ginger?
We have 2 gingers on the show. That is, we've exceeded our ginger limit. Jarvis, you're kicked off the show.
I knew it was gonna happen. Fuck it.
No,
I just had a flashback.
Our community is
wait, golf hawks.
Yeah. This is not going to be a quick journey. This is not going to be an easy process. But and the crazy thing about it, one of the things that led me to actually proceed.
Words are hard, everyone.
Words are hard. Proceeding with this show and creating this show is the number of guys that during nonsensical nonsense that have been like in the chat box and been like, "Hey, Glick and Jeff, I just want to let you guys know that I've been going through some shit right now, and had it not been for you guys, I wouldn't have got through." And we were just being fucking chuckleheads. Like, we were just being fucking chuckleheads at the end of the day. We weren't doing anything serious. And there were guys out there that were going through hell, divorce, work situations. COVID kicked a lot of people's asses. No matter how you feel about COVID or what your stance is on COVID or anything like that, there were guys out there listening to nonsensical nonsense that we didn't even realize we were helping them. And now those same guys have come back since we've started this show and said, "Holy shit, Glick. Where was this a year ago? Where, where was this 2 years ago, man?" And it's just like, hey, but at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're taking this journey together, and there's, I've had conversations with my son about, and I've said this before too. I've had conversations, and Mark, you said you have a son, right?
Yep.
How old's your son, if you don't mind me asking?
He'll be, he's 18, be 19 in a few months.
Wow. And I know Connor's got 2 boys. They're young. Night, buddy. So speaking of my sons, love you, buddy.
I'm your only son.
Or my son. My son. Yes, you are my only son. Sorry. Speaking of my son.
Speak of the devil, and they shall appear.
Yeah.
Dad, in blood.
Huh?
In blood, I'm your only son.
Well, you're my only son. Period. I promise. Well, yeah. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. I do have Christopher and Jay now.
I was gonna say my heart broke a little bit.
I got bonus sons. Yeah, I feel like Connor and Jarvis are basically Connor could be my son. No, I was very fortunate. I with Nikki and I being together, I did inherit 2 bonus sons, but they're grown and she did an amazing job raising 2 fantastic boys. Now I just get to reap the benefits because they're 24 and 25 and 23, something like that, I think. So, but I've had the conversation with my son. We were watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but it's an emotional roller coaster. Like and we got done watching the movie and he was like, that was a good movie. And I was like, yeah, actually, really good. And we were talking about it. And he was like, I seen you crying, by the way. And I was like, shut up, I seen you crying. And I was like, it's okay to cry, right? Like if something's sad or something like that, or if it's I was like, it's okay to cry, you know that, right? And he was like, oh, is it? I said, yeah, it's absolutely, it's cool to cry. I said, do you think I'm any weaker because I cried at that movie? He was like, I mean, I wouldn't have my friend's dad come over here and pick a fight with you. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't make you weak because you show emotion or you're having a bad day and you need a moment, you need a minute to yourself. Like that doesn't make you weak, dude. Like you're still same person you always are. You have emotions, and that's okay because it took me a long time to learn that I have emotions and I'm allowed to have emotions. Believe it or not, men, we're allowed to have emotions. Regardless of what anybody says, we are emotional creatures and we're allowed to have those emotions.
That's something that I had a big struggle with last week. So we had our episode on Monday last week about trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, later that week, I had a therapy appointment. We talked about some stuff, not real fun to talk about. And I had a absolute mental breakdown in the middle of the day. And I'm a stay-at-home dad. And I have 3 kids that are all young. I have a 7-year-old. Well, he's 7 tomorrow. Well, in 2 hours. A 5-year-old and a 1-year-old daughter. And I had an absolute fucking come apart. I was crying, I was cussing, I was yelling, I was throwing shit. And like I came to my senses for a second and I went out to the garage and was like, I'll be right back. I wasn't yelling at you boys, I'll be right back. And I came back and I was just like trying to hold it together. And Carson, my oldest son, walked up to me and he gave me a huge hug. And he said, it's okay, Dad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset. I know it happens to everybody. You're okay. I'm like, dude, this kid's 7.
And he gets it.
And that was, whoo. When your kid looks at you after you have an absolute breakdown and says, it's okay, Dad. Like I was out in the garage and he opened the garage door and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm okay. I just need to, I smoked some pot and I took an anxiety pill and I calmed down a little bit. It took like 5-10 minutes out there and I walked back in and he was just like, it's okay. And I couldn't stop apologizing because in my brain, no matter what anybody tells me, I can never get it out of my head that it's not okay to cry in front of your kids. It's not okay to lose it in front of your kids. It's not okay to show that part of you to your kids. And my son was like, no. Like my 7-year-old said, Dad, stop. It's okay.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. It also made me really proud of my kid. But
and that's a great thing about our generation. Well, not even our generation, because again, Connor, you're in your 20s, and Jarvis is in his 30s, and Mark and I are both in our 40s.
I'm almost in my 50s. Damn.
Yeah, you're good.
You're an old fuck.
Hell
You got less
coming
gray hair than
soon,
Chris
buddy.
does, though.
Yeah, but gingers don't go gray.
Oh, yes, they do. On my
Oh
family.
yeah, they do.
You have to have a soul to go gray.
It takes a while and you can't see it because the light's reflecting and stuff like that. But I got
Just
gray.
take the L. Just
You
let's
can't
take
see it through
L,
the
Mark.
toupee, but it looks good.
Bro,
Yeah.
not that
Thanks.
you guys can see it, thank God, but I was
No, we can see it in your beard.
Oh, it's in my beard. I was sending a Snapchat to Nikki, and I said,
We don't want to know that type of Snapchat. Sorry.
well, not
No.
that. No, it wasn't that kind of Snapchat.
Like, is that a gray pubic hair?
I was like, oh my God, look at all the gray. And, I was like, look at all the gray in my hair, like on my head, like the head on my shoulders. I was like, oh my God. And like, I started going gray a couple years ago. It's all, you guys can see it in my beard. It is what it is. I love my racing stripes. And then I started going, I don't grow my hair long enough so you guys really can't see it. But on the sides, I got that cool, like that cool Doctor Strange, Dr. Reed gray. You know what I mean? Fantastic Four, that like right on the side that really, and I was like, that's cool. I'm not mad at it. But now it's starting to go gray up here. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm embracing my gray to the point where I want to go buy hair dye and I just want to make it all gray.
Eventually,
just
kids
seasoning.
at
That's
the
all it
mall
is.
will call you Santa.
Yeah.
All right.
Eventually.
You'll just be walking around, and all of a sudden,
But-
little kid would be like Santa.
But no, I mean that's the great thing about where we are now. I was going to say, we kind of squirrel. Where we are now as men, and the fact that a lot of men are coming to willing to accept and have the conversations that we are having. The great thing about being dads right now is we get to break the cycle. We get to be the ones who break the cycle of rub some dirt in it, you'll be fine. Stop being a pussy.
See, I've never said that to my kids.
But
None. I've never said that. I never wanted them to believe that they could be weak if they're crying. Myself, I've never. I don't see the problem of crying at all, especially if you're sad. If you're scared, if something bad happened or whatever, you have your rights. You have your rights to break down. You have your rights to do this. You have your, and doing it in front of my kids. I have broke down in front of my kids before, and they're the ones that are the reasons why I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife is the reason why I'm still here. I don't know what life would be like if I went a different direction. If my kids or my wife weren't here, it would be so much different, and I'd probably be down a really dark path.
Yeah.
So they were my light. My wife is the one that got me to trust women again, because it took a lot for me to trust a woman, and that's a different story. But I mean, it's just
we could definitely have.
yeah,
I've been there.
exactly. But in Connor's case, you broke down. You're allowed to. You don't have anything to apologize for. You're showing your kids that it's not a weakness. It's just part of life. Every once in a while, that you have to do it. Yeah, it's not like you were, oh, I'm doing it for no reason. You had a reason why you did it, and it's okay.
I had a very good friend of mine who unfortunately lost his battle, so to say. And his note, in his final words, so to say, he said, "You can only be strong until you're not strong enough anymore."
See, I used to be
wrecked me. That shit wrecked me because he was a few years older than me, and I looked up to him. He taught me a lot of things, and that shit wrecked me. And those words have been screamed in my head many a times, when I've been at my lowest, so to say. But and then, like you said, I found my light in my kids. Why do I keep going? And I found that in my kids. But I'll never forget those words because, goddamn, those words were very powerful and very impactful.
Well, I like that you said that we have the chance to break the cycle. My dad is, first of all, I would never talk crap on my dad. He's 100%. He's probably the greatest father out there, if you ask me. It was just he did a great job of showing me how to be who I am today and how to love. And he did a phenomenal job. But I saw him cry once in my life, and it wasn't. He never told me I was weak for doing it. He never told me, you shouldn't cry here or then or blah blah. Or wait till you're alone in a room. But the only time I ever saw him cry was when he lost his mom, and to do that in front of my kids the other day. I mean, all I could think about was my dad. I was like, man, he never showed us that side of him. It was never there because he never wanted us to think that he was weak or that he was lesser, because that's what he grew up on. Mm-hmm. That's what he grew up on, and God love my grandfather. That same mentality, and you could tell it was unpracticed when he cried when she passed. And not that you have to look pretty when you cry, because nobody does, but it's a relief to hear my son say that.
What were you getting?
Because I had another come apart with my wife later that night, and she said, it's because you've taught him that it's okay, and you're doing a really good job.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But in that moment, man, I just felt like such a failure.
No, don't ever think that, man.
What were you getting ready to say, Mark? Before Connor?
No. I kept my mouth shut because I knew Connor was going to say something. When my father killed himself, I don't think lightly about that or anything else. But I used to think that when he did it, because he left no note, he left nothing, that he was a coward. And, I don't believe everybody that does it is a coward.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a good childhood. He wasn't in my life. I told Stephen earlier, there's a certain word that I don't like to use, and that's the word hate. Because that was the last thing that I ever told my father is, I hate you. Mm-hmm. I never seen him again after that. When I was 13 years old, I found out that he had killed himself. I didn't get to go to his funeral. It was 3 months after his funeral is when we found out.
Wow.
He told my brother that a few months before that, before he killed himself, he told my brother that me and my sister were dead. So do I put him on a pedestal? No, not knowing that what I know now. Do I forgive him for what he has done? Yeah, I forgave him. Why? Because he gave me 2 sisters and a brother, a great stepmom, and I wouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. My mom raised me the way she did. Wasn't always the best way, but you know what? I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I was raised, it didn't matter if you cried or not, because, well, I was raised by a woman. I was not raised by a man. I had father figures in my life, my uncles, who were great, but they never told me, don't cry. They said, live your life the way you want to. If you cry, you cry. If you're sad, be sad. If you're happy, be happy. But whatever you do, don't just sit there and dwell on it. But unfortunately, when I drank, I dwelled on it.
That's the thing about alcohol, man. and you know, especially when you're fighting them demons, you know, alcohol is a downer. Alcohol is a depressant. And when you're already and I'm gonna speak for me personally. I drank because I wanted to kill the voices in my head. I wanted to numb the hurt, numb the pain, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, all the alcohol for me was fuel for those voices, fuel for those demons, and like I said, you know, it took a lot for me to be where I am today because I have a mean streak in me, man. I have a mean streak a mile long, and I'm a violent son of a bitch. And you know, I'm the first one to you look at me sideways before a word is said. I'm punching you in your fucking eye, and it took a lot for me to be the calm person I am today to get to the point where I would much rather sit down and have a conversation and let's have a beer rather than fucking yell and scream and argue with each other, you know, because at the end of the day, all it's gonna happen is I'm gonna wake up with a couple broken fingers, maybe a broken hand, a black eye, and regret in the morning of what happened to the other guy. I look like this, what happened to the other person?
When you blacked out, right?
Oh, I blacked out a lot.
When you black out, you're like, what the hell happened? What, you know, you don't, you think of the consequences of that the next day, and you're like, what the fuck happened?
He goes purple Sasquatch.
You know, I have the emotional. We all wear physical scars. I could show you guys my hands. My hands are jacked. I have scars all over my hands. My fingers. I mean, you see how my hand looks. Like this is my hand. I've broken my hands and fingers so many times. Like I can't straighten my hands out. When it gets cold, like this is one of the things I hate about being in Ohio. When it's cold in the mornings, I wake up like this. I look like Arn Anderson in the morning, like no joke. Until my hands warm up when it's really cold, or if I'm outside working,
You're starting to get arthritis in your.
I look like Arn Anderson. My hands are just.
Should be more than that.
You know, it's broken bones. I've broken my hands and fingers so many times. You know, I wear the physical scars. You know, it took me a long time, especially being on camera. I would try to hide it. I would not look at the camera a certain way because I have a wonky eye and I wear a scar on the side of my face from one of the nights where shit went a little sideways. And last thing I remember was getting kicked in the face as I was pummeling a guy. And the next day, talking to police officers because the 4 guys I got into a fight with, all 4 of them were in the hospital. I was in the hospital, but they were worse off than I was. But now I have a permanent scar on my face for the rest of my life. My eye is wonky, and it really shows in the cold. But there's a scar straight down my face where the dude kicked me in the face. When I was,
I can show you. I can show you my scar, but I don't think you want to see my ass.
Yeah, so. I mean, I've got, you know, and it's not a pissing contest. Like I'm not out here trying to say I'm the baddest son of a bitch alive. You know, I've got scars from being stabbed. I've got scars from being cut. Yeah,
it's not a pissing contest, but
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I've been shot at. I've never been shot, unless you want to consider the old farmer whose cornfield backed up to my parents' property, who lit my ass up with salt rock.
Oh,
yeah, I heard that. I can imagine how that felt.
Which was not fun.
You don't know what rock salt is, Connor?
Let's just say lesson learned.
No, I said I could just imagine how that felt.
Yeah, let's just say lesson learned.
I said fuck that, Steven.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesus.
And that was me. That you know, I had a rage inside me, and violence was the answer. So it took a lot for me to calm that and become the quote unquote gentle Wookiee or Sasquatch that I am today.
You're a Squatch. Get it right. There's a Squatch in these woods.
I'm a Squatch, and other people like to call me a Wookiee. But it took a lot
Zencaster is so easy a
it took a lot to
Sasquatch. That's
control that. And there's been times where I got to walk away from a situation and not even worry about what's being said once I walk away, because I got to walk away because it's like I'm going to that place again. And I don't like that guy. I never liked that guy, but it is what it is at the end of the day. You know, but when it comes to the kids, I never wanted the kids to see that side of me. And that was, and like I said it earlier, and we talked about it on a previous episode, the third time, and I had to have that come to Jesus moment. I don't ever want my kids to look back and go, damn, like what the hell was going on in Dad's world? Like, was Dad not? I used to say, you know, people who would get to that point were cowards, and they're not cowards. You know, if somebody reaches that point where they want to unalive themselves and they do it, they're not a coward. They weren't strong enough anymore to fight their demons, and nobody was there for them, or they felt like nobody was there for them. They're not a coward. And I used to think
exactly. Well, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey boys, I hate that I have to leave because I'm getting into this conversation, but I really got to get my daughter to bed, and I got to get shit ready, and my wife's coming home too. So
yeah, I got to get off here.
Well, I do too. So can you guys hang out long enough for a song and then leave? Hold on.
Yes.
Jarvis.
Yeah,
he's okay.
Jarvis is over there masturbating without his
fucking
hands.
Connor almost got me again, the motherfucker.
Jarvis, it's just a quote. You can cheat and you can look one up. So
I got one.
Yeah, I want to play a song. What I want to ask you guys, it can be something personal, or you can cheat and look up a quote. But I want to play a song, and before we wrap up, I just want you guys to leave everybody with words of wisdom, something for inspiration, or a quote that resonates with you, if you will. Do appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you to Mark and Brian from Talking Shttt for hanging out with us tonight. I feel like there's going to be more shows with the guys down the road. We have created a friendship, and thank you, Jarvis, for introducing the all of us. I do enjoy the friendship that is being created and growing with Mark and Brian, not only with the podcast, but outside of the podcast. I do look forward to when I see them online, that I know I'm going to get to hang out with the guys and play some video games and shoot the shit and talk about whatever. So thank you guys for being here tonight. Looking forward to the 2-part vet show, which is once we start locking in the dates and the times and all that stuff, we'll let you guys know more about that. In the meantime, go ahead and check out all the social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We do shows Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays on the Nonsensical Network on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Men Caring for Men on Monday, Dollars and Cents on Tuesday, Nonsensical Nonsense on Wednesday. We take the day off on Thursday for our guys over at Talking Shttt, Mark and Brian. They got their YouTube and Facebook channel, Talking Shttt. Shit is spelled SHTTT. Make sure you guys are following them and hanging out with them and getting in their chatters box. Get in their box. Get in Brian's box, goddammit. He's got a big box. Also, Thursday nights, if you're up late, check out Ted Hicks' Late Night Parents with his crew. Thursday afternoons, Helen's Mixtape comes out on radio65.com. And Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, first thing in the morning, Fireman Rich is doing his morning coffee, hanging out with you guys, chit-chatting, getting your morning started right. And then Jarvis, Sundays you do the Jarvis podcast? You try to
Yeah, I try to on Sundays. Sometimes I forget, or sometimes I don't want to, or sometimes I just don't give a shit.
Most time on Friday evenings, he's hanging out on Twitch, Jarvis Demon, playing some video games. mining some rocks with his pew 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 pew. But we're gonna wrap the show up. I'm gonna you know what? I have multiple songs in here, but the conversation tonight, the conversations we had and stuff like this, I feel like this song is probably the most relevant,
pertinent.
Probably one of my favorite rock bands, and I love this song. I've loved this song since it came out, but it's Shinedown with Save Me. And we'll be back with quotes, words of wisdom, and inspiration.
I got a candle and I've got a spoon. I live in a hallway with no doors and no rooms. And under a windowsill, they all were found. A touch of concrete within the doorway without a sound. How did I get here? And what went wrong? Couldn't handle forgiveness. Now I'm far beyond gone. And I can hardly remember the look of my own eyes. How could I love this? A life so dishonest, it made me compromise. Someone save me if you will, and take away all these pills. And please just save me if you can from my blasphemy in my Jump in the water, jump in with me, jump on the altar, lay down with me. The hardest question to answer is someone save me if you will, and take away all these pills. And please just save me if you can from my blasphemy in my wasteland. Someone save me. Someone save me. Somebody save me. Somebody save me. Please don't erase me.
I freaking love that goddamn song. Great song by Shinedown right there. It's called Save Me. Ladies and gentlemen, there's Princess Booby. Hi, Miss Man. Hey, look at me when I'm talking to you, little girl.
Hi. Hi.
I love her. She's so cute. All right, Mark, you're the guest today. I'm going to put you on the spot. Closing words, words of wisdom,
fucking
inspirational thoughts, or anything. How you feeling? What you got for the people at the end of the night?
All right, there's only 3 words, and it's the only thing that's come to my mind, and it's been there for quite a long time. and it fits this show perfectly. And the 3 words is "You are enough."
Agreed, 100%. Agreed.
Kind of
Jarvis?
actually had me nervous there for a second. I thought it was going to be please fire Steven.
I thought
right.
it was going to be fuck you, Jaravici.
Honestly, I had that wrote down before the show started.
Right there, buddy, for you. Sorry, princess. But no, my quote is this. And no one has to understand that braveness is not the absence of fear, but rather the strength to keep on going forward despite the fear.
Nice.
I just looked up quotes of encouragement.
There you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. That's what we told you last week. You got all nervous and flustered and extra.
Well,
Connor?
I mean, it was
It's okay to cheat. It's okay to cheat. I cheat almost every week. I'm talking about for that, not don't be gross.
There you go, Connor.
But
over to you.
I guess those are the words of wisdom. No,
those are the best words of wisdom, princess.
Very wise saying.
Okay. Shh.
Hi.
So I can't compare to those words, but I'll say it because I feel like I needed to hear it last week, and I think that there's people out there that need to hear it, even though they might not be listening right now. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be weak. It's okay to give in for a moment, and to show that as long as you're not weak and you're not frail all the time. Just because you show it, just because you do it, doesn't make you weak. It just means that you're being human.
Exactly.
We got to show these little ones that it's okay.
Yeah. We gotta be role models for the next generation. And as always, you know me, I like to hear myself talk, but it's during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. Mark and I both talked about seeing the light at the end of that tunnel in our children. And it wasn't an easy journey for me personally. But also always remember, this feeling will pass. The fear is real, but the danger is not. And I want to touch on something I said earlier. We can all only be strong for so long. The moment when you don't feel like you're strong enough anymore, remember there's people around you. And if you feel like you don't know any of those people, there's guys right here on this show right now that will be strong enough for you. It's one button away. I've said it a million times, and I mean it. I'm always here for anybody. So when the moment that you don't think that you're strong enough anymore, let me be strong enough for you. Let Mark be strong enough for you. Let Connor, let Jarvis, let Brian, let Jeff, let somebody in the chatters box be strong enough for you. You're not a coward, but trust me, it doesn't make things any better because you're leaving all that hurt and all that pain on the people who are left behind. What that man said. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you, Mark and Brian, for coming on here. I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with you guys, working together with you guys as well. Nonsensical Nonsense will be back Saturday night with a brand new episode, with a brand new open door challenge. I think I'm taking tomorrow night off. I'm probably going to take tomorrow night off and prepare for Monday and play video games and kill a lot of ungrateful sons of bitches on Call of Duty. Oh, also,
damn the Taliban.
Actually, I'll say this after I hit the button. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll be back Saturday. Don't forget Monday, brand new episode of Men Caring for Men. Tuesday, Dollars Says might be back. Wednesday, Nonsensical Nonsense. And Thursday, Talking Shit. Sunday, there might be a new Jarvis podcast, maybe.
Hey, can't make a promise.
Anyways.
There should be.
I'm gonna hit this
probably
button
even
here.
Saturday.
Yeah, hit this button real quick.